Okay.
Okay. When last we left your party, you were planning to have a. Heraith was in a one-on-one duel with the leader of the Orcish hordes, Logzol of the Evoking Hand. Um, After a tense battle, Hiraith ultimately managed to defeat him, and thus proving her worth, was made Orc Friend, welcome in all of the strongholds, and authorized to speak on behalf of their entire group. After succeeding in that endeavor, you journeyed back to uh, Crankshaft Hold, where you notified the board of your success, and you subsequently also contacted um, Anna Stonebrook, who sent a delegation to Crankshaft Hold in the form of Victor, the prosecutor that you had had dealings with before, as well as your companion Mito. After relaying your information, and it seemed like things were more or less wrapping up, you decided to make your way back to Arcadia, finally having some downtime, taking care of some errands and personal uh, things over the next couple of weeks, at which point, over that period of time, you managed to be clued into a number of little rumors that were traveling around the realm. You were notified about uh, some murders that had been happening in the slums of Arcadia that were heralded by the appearance of what appeared to be a young girl in a white tattered gown with dark black hair that drapes over her face. You also were made aware of a number of fires that had been occurring in the crossroads, buildings seemingly being burned down overnight, as well as being introduced to Gerald Rubin, a real estate developer who had decided to move into the slums now that the crime rate had been lessened, and he and a number of other developers seemed to be looking to essentially gentrify the area surrounding the Dapper Snapdragon. You also learned, as a bit of interesting side news, that the naval campaign that was occurring in the in and around the Cerulean Archipelago in the Shimmering Expanse was heating up, and that the capital ship of the Arcadian military, being helmed, in fact, by the general Eric Vogel, who was the general of the entire military, was overseeing a blockade of the entire islands. So that is where we're picking up. You are still on your downtime. You're taking care of any other errands you want to. But other than that, you're sort of around the Dapper Snapdragon, in and out, and I'm going to leave it up to you to decide what you want to do.
Okay.
In character would make most sense to do what's right here in the city, but I guess I'm going to say let's go to the
I
crossroads.
mean, we can do it, and Fal could just do
I
the
don't
best.
want to do
Ellen
it
and-
without Mel.
Okay.
Is it something that Ellen pursued in her own free time? So I feel like it wouldn't be cool if we didn't acknowledge that he should be there.
Yay.
How many, like, is the time we've spent in our downtime when we, like, is the time that's past nebulous? Is there a specific amount of time that's happened?
Well, you had indicated that you wanted that mask made, so
Right,
that was
that took
really
10 But, like, is this all happening after that, or is it happening before that's finished?
it's in the interim. It's nebulous. It's in and out.
Okay. So the fires were happening in Crossroads?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean Goff's just around. He's not really I don't think he really I think he was there for like the Reuben thing whenever that happened. I don't know if he's there for any of the other rumors, so he's just kind of around for whenever people need him. So I don't think he's really making any decisions about
Yeah, I guess we'll go take care of those fires and crossroads first. Are we,
maybe we can say Ellen is has been not wasn't around or something. Maybe she's off doing something. and-
Maybe we can say that she's going to go take a look at what's happening with rumors about the murders on her own first, and then by the time we come back, we can help her out.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she's like scouting out and just doing her own like Batman-esque work, and yeah, I guess because wait, so would she not be coming with us to the crossroads
Yes.
with that?
That's up to you. I can NPC her. That's not a problem. If you feel that you need her.
Um, I
I
guess we
just
could.
feel like it's a little more difficult to explain it in character if we do take her, because it's like, why would we go out of our way first? That's why I said
It's not linear. This is all happening like in and out of these weeks, so we could jump around. Like you guys could be doing this now, and then maybe you did the Arcadia thing like a week prior.
more that.
Alright.
Well, I'm thinking like if we did this, we could say that because Mel's not here, maybe Ellen is initially not with us because she's investigating something, and she just like she's like I'll do my own thing, and then if Mel shows up, maybe she's like suddenly Ellen's like shows up behind us like, hey, I followed you. I don't know.
Like,
she
hey,
could do
what's
that.
up?
She could probably do that.
It's up to you.
I don't-
Yeah.
yeah, whatever.
I'm prepared for anything. Just,
Yeah.
Sissel fireballs the entirety of Arcadia, everyone dies.
that doesn't happen.
But were you prepared for it?
Yeah, it was,
Mm-hmm.
and it disintegrates.
Yeah, the fireball hits a wall, and then it just hits it kind of burns the
Everyone
wall,
succeeds on
and
their dex saving throw,
It takes half damage, but the half damage is like
but they're all rogues, so they don't take any damage.
Oh.
Everyone in Arcadia is a rogue.
Yeah.
Everyone in Arcadia is secretly a rogue.
Everyone's cross-classed.
Even Steve Brule.
Yeah, he is
Wow.
an arcane trickster. Anyway, we're goofing too much. Okay, so you're all heading to the crossroads then?
Yeah.
I guess so. Goff is just where anyone needs him. He's probably just messing with plants,
Messing with plants.
helping Felania with a tree.
Yeah, that's coming along. It's. What was the last thing you did on that? I forget. Like there was a thing that we did last session that Goff added to it.
Well, I remember we came back to Arcadia briefly when we were doing our like little negotiation stuff before we went to see the orcs, and I remember when we talked and Goff interacted with Felania then, it was like 20 feet tall, and she offered to add something. It was like vines or flowers or something.
like hanging vines that I think
Had
were
blue
luminescent.
flowers.
Yeah, or blue flowers and would glow at night.
And then we also specified that the tree that grew from the big acorn was gonna have like an arch grown. It was gonna grow into an arch, and that the other trees are gonna wrap around that one. And that was on our brief visit.
Yeah,
Like he checked in, and then we went to see the orcs, and then so like a week passed.
Yeah,
a week has
so a week
passed. A week
passed.
passed, and then we came back for our actual downtime.
Yeah.
And-
So a week passed, and in that intervening period, she was able to get in contact with her suppliers and get a bunch of various plant life to start sprucing the place up and making it look nice.
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 And you're actually noticing that at night sometimes, Goff, you're on the roof of the apartment building. I'm assuming just sort of lying near all the plants that you've been growing up on the rooftop. And it's as darkness falls over the city, you glance down at the courtyard, and you curiously notice not only do you see the gentle glow of the blue flowers from the hanging ivy, but you also see what little yellow lights here and there as little groups of fireflies seem to have been attracted to this area.
Oh, what time of year is it? What's the season? Wasn't it winter for a while, or was it just cold because we were in the Sapphire
It's
Islands?
just cold, I think. I don't fucking track time. Actually, scratch that. It's probably getting too close to winter, isn't it?
I
It's
Um,
mean,
getting
well,
close to
it
winter
depends
like a
on
year
it depends.
ago.
it was in fall. It was in fall previously, and now it's been a couple of months, so it's probably getting close to winter.
Ew.
Okay.
I just wanted to do a cool scene.
Oh.
No, I mean,
Think
they could
about
absolutely
weather.
be there. I was just curious. That made me think about what time of year it actually is, because it was something I was thinking about earlier. No, the fireflies could absolutely be there. It's magic. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
It is a shit
I've
for
never
help.
seen a firefly in real life. They don't have them up here, and that sucks. I
Oh.
really want to see a
Oh,
firefly.
I didn't know
They're
that.
beautiful.
I know. I've always wanted to see fireflies, and they don't have them because I live in the Pacific fucking Northwest.
Oh, come to the south. They're everywhere.
Please,
Yep.
I want to see one.
Okay. So, um, so I'd say Sissel. This news, as this news that you hear about the fires in the crossroads, you in particular, I think more than anybody else, it kind of gives you pause. There's something about it that seems familiar and doesn't sit right with you. And although your other companions are certainly aware that it seems to fit with a lot of the other stuff that's been going on as far as things burning down of late, this in particular makes you feel a little uneasy.
Yeah. A bit. Also, Moira mentioned the men on fire, I think.
Yeah, how did she put it? She called him the one who walks in ruin, the burned man.
The burned man. Ugh. So, who else is with me with that rumor? Or are we on our
Who
way
was-
already?
It's up to you. I'd assume either
we've left
other
yet.
people were there or you notified them.
Yeah,
of
I
what you
definitely
heard.
notified them. I was like, hey, look, we should take care of this probably while. Ugh.
Let's plan our trip with our fast travel room.
Our fast travel room.
Yeah, Sergeant Dead Strength. The fuck was she, a dwarf? Yeah, she was a dwarf. I really should have my notes up for this. Yeah, so she's in the map room, planning. So you go in there, you plan your trip out. Are you just going to the crossroads and back?
As far as I know, or at least I
What
well-
other rumors did we have?
You had this one, and then the one in Arcadia,
And then the other stuff. Then there was the other stuff that happened.
Oh, it
Where
was
we learned
like
about the
pirates.
naval campaign and the East, and then that we met the real estate gentrification man, and
Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
that was all of our.
that dude.
That was it. So we basically have two things we can immediately deal with, which is the crossroads and an Arcadia. But Mel's not here, so the crossroads is basically, or we can just go beat up a real estate developer.
I
Just
mean,
really break character
I'm
and
always
just
down
kinda
for that.
go find him and just knock his lights out. No, that's definitely not gonna happen. We're not doing that. At least not right away. If he has to earn it first.
Yeah. He's
Depends on.
he's gotta really
bad-
earn it. He's gotta pull up his bootstraps and work for it.
Gave me a bad vibe.
Yeah. So we're heading
Okay.
to Crossroads, I'm assuming on horseback?
Okay. Well, if you're taking your horses, I'd say that the travel would take you probably about a little less than a day to get down there.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So you plan your trip out, and then the following day you pack up your rations. Do you have a nice, good meal from Holg?
Sure.
Yeah.
What does he make?
He makes some delicious chili and cornbread
Yummy.
Nice.
for breakfast.
Oh God.
No.
Chili for breakfast.
Oh, he'll make some
No, that's fine.
a big old omelet.
Nice.
Okay, so mark off a DM inspiration,
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
and after that you saddle up your horses and you ride, and you.
Before I left, I'd practice on the thing.
Oh yes, the training thing.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So that's a extra 1d6, I believe, to your damage rolls.
And that lasts for a day?
That lasts for. You know, I'm gonna homebrew it to say, make it 48 hours because a day is like you're lost by the time you're done traveling,
Yeah, it's really only useful if it's a day. It's really only useful if we're staying in Arcadia.
or if you're teleporting somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So you saddle up and you ride. You ride out of the slums, past the far corners, past the location where you know of Dr. Walden's workshop, where you can see some of
Wait.
it. What's
It
up?
went green. It went green. I don't know if that makes you see or not, but it went green. The circle's green. Sorry, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I got so
Attention,
excited.
the circle is green.
The circle
I repeat,
is green.
The circle.
The
He's typing. The circle is.
This-
DM.
I like how me and her both just like could not.
Oh.
Milk.
Milk. He. The best daughter 2 pounds of chocolate in revenge.
All right. Well, we'll continue on this.
Okay.
Hopefully he'll be able to join us before the end of the night.
I was hoping he was gonna pop in because then we could rewind time like a little bit and I could do what I wanted to do. But
Yeah,
whatever,
everybody's
it's
just
fine.
like,
It's fate and time is
dude.
fucking hating me,
The way I
guess.
see it, this particular session and maybe next session, depending on how long these side quests take, are incongruous. They're not linear, so you can just say things happen when they happen. We'll only worry about linear time again when you finally start heading toward
Pounded in the butt by my concept.
the
of linear
archipelago.
time.
Yeah.
The way Mel is saying this is just. He's been staring into the middle distance.
Okay. Okay. Let's continue for now.
Okay.
Let's stay on target.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
No, it's fine. We were all very excited. Okay, so you travel on down the crossroads. Excuse me. Oh, let me back up. You travel out of the far corners past the location of Dr. Walden's workshop. You can see, even in the early hours, there's smoke wafting out of his workshop. He seems to be hard at work, making whatever new crazy inventions are in his mind. You go with all speed down the Pilgrim's Path, passing by the location of where you encountered that carnival so many months ago, past the ruins of the weird ruins where you found Cecil's Pearl of Power that you stole.
It's been a minute since we've been past all this stuff, huh?
Yeah, it has been. And after about 18 hours of travel, with some stops in between for lunch and to make camp, you eventually find yourself on the outskirts of the crossroads, heading down the hill past the plantation houses toward the city walls. So what do you do?
How does it look? Does it look like...
It's a bustling city. It's not like the whole city's burned down or anything, and it's guarded by these 30-foot high walls all around, stone walls.
So I guess we'll, just go in and ask around about it, right?
Guess so.
I guess we're just gonna, like, go past the walls and look for, I guess, the nearest authoritative looking person.
All right. Give me I'd say an investigation check, because you're looking for somebody.
Yeah.
You're just looking for a town guard or something like that.
Yeah, like a guard or something.
I'll help.
Okay. Cecil, you pass by the town gates. After all of you stable your horses, you get off on foot and begin looking around. You head toward the town square, where, after sort of looking around this bustling center of trade and business, you do notice a town guard wearing very simple iron armor. He's got a bit of blues poking out on the uniform that's beneath his armor, and he's got a sort of a musket in hand. He looks like a sort of a middle-aged man with a very hard-looking face, big nose. His cheeks are a little rosy. It looks like he might have been having a little early drink.
Mm-hmm.
But you see a man sort of just standing on the corner near one of the lampposts, watching the crowd.
I wave my hand. Hey, buddy. Excuse me?
Yes.
Hey, so I'm from out of town, but I heard there are some rumors that there, have you heard about any fires as of late?
As soon as you say fires, you see his face sort of change. He's like, there's nothing to worry about. It's just some, sometimes there's small stove fires and they get out of control.
Oh yeah.
I want to roll insight on that.
Sure.
Does he seem like he's lying?
Do an insight check.
Oh, I don't know if he's lying.
What
I
did
rolled
you
9
get?
total.
Okay.
I'm also gonna roll an insight check. Like, it's probably bullshit, but
Yeah.
Thank you,
Sissel,
Sissel.
you see that there's some sweat beneath the forearm on his brow. He does not seem like he's very comfortable talking about this.
yeah. Oh, that's fine, and I'm sure you're doing a really great job. I've got a couple friends who live in this area, and I was a bit worried. Is there anything you can tell me about? Where they've been happening?
There's, it happens from time to time. Like I said, stove fires, sometimes arson if someone wants to burn down a business.
What
I mean-
kind of business?
Well, sometimes they burn them down in the warehouse district. Sometimes they burn them down at the dock fronts. It happens. It's not a pattern, if that's what you're thinking.
Not a pattern, you say? So there's no sort of geographical pattern or any sort of pattern in what kinds of places were hit?
No, nothing like that.
Insight.
What'd you roll?
At 20.
Nat 20 or just a 20?
It's 20, but...
He is definitely. Well, he doesn't. He's definitely seems like he knows something a little bit more, but he's not. He's reticent to talk about it.
What's going around here that has you scared? It's clear on your face.
If you have any questions, I would advise you to direct them to the sheriff's office. That is
Mel?
Mildred.
Hello.
Are you
Hello.
here?
I am here, at least for now.
Okay.
Oh.
They're still here, but
I can
You know
hear
what?
them in the
You're there.
background. I can hear their devil cries in the background.
yeah,
Okay.
it's okay. I fed her like so much. I fed her chocolate, and then I fed her hot chocolate.
Oh my god.
Okay, so just to bring you up to speed about what we did, unless Tom wants to do a skip, and
If Mel is not sure how long he can be here, I don't want to do it because if Mel gets
Okay.
pulled away in the middle of it, which absolutely is going to happen based on the luck we're having, I don't. We have
Okay.
to wait until
All right,
Mel
so-
is more sure how much
so
time he has.
to give you to catch you up, the group decided not to do the Arcadia thing just now because you weren't
Because
here.
you weren't here, yeah.
So they've headed down to the crossroads and they're asking around about the fires. That's basically where we're at right
Okay.
now. They're talking to a guard right now who seems to know something, but he's not spilling the beans.
Hmm.
Yes, I would recommend you speak to the sheriff's office if you have any questions or complaints.
Seems like a lot of work when you could just tell us right here.
How are you saying that? Are you?
Um,
Can I roll like
I mean, my
and my insight check for this
I was
conversation
about to say,
since
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah.
both
He's
my
clearly
persuasion
lying.
and my intimidation
Okay.
are pretty high.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Is it just a straight up persuasion, or are you trying to intimidate him? Like, you better tell us what you know.
I feel like I would probably be trying to like, kind of cajole him into it. So probably
Okay.
persuasion.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Alright.
be
And
helping
not
with
just
that,
because
I think.
I have double expertise in persuasion or anything.
Just
So this is how it goes when you have double prestige. Expertise.
Double prestige.
double
I rolled
percent.
a 9. That is a 21.
Oh,
Jesus.
oh, I love expertise.
expertise is so gross. Okay. He seems to. He says. He leans low toward you, Hiraeth, and he whispers, and he says, I can't talk about it. My superior said just to assure any tourists everything's okay. Okay?
Not tourists.
I'm not talking.
But you're new to this town. You're not from here. Look, there's been a few fires. Okay? There was a couple down by the docks. There was one near the square. There was one that happened last night up north. That's all I know.
Not my ma-
Please, just don't tell Sheriff Moonshadow that I told you anything, okay?
I don't even know your name, so your secret is safe.
Okay, all right. And he straightens up again. He's like, on your way, citizen.
I'll not. So if it was like by the docks, and then he said in the middle of town, and then to the north?
Yeah.
Would it all
At-
kind of be generally in kind of a north to south line? Like
So if we pull up the map,
Let's look at the map.
Salvador.
you guys are currently all in the town center right now.
Uh-huh.
You mentioned there were a couple near the docks. There was one near the center and then one in the north. That's all he said. It wasn't in a line. You don't know if it's in a line. You'd have to investigate further.
He said the one that happened last night was up north, so most recent first. Let's go check that area out.
Sure.
So you head back the way you came. You start heading toward the north. Which way do you go? I mean, you don't quite know where it would be, unless you're just going to walk up and down the street.
Up north. Ugh. I guess. Hmm. He didn't specify where it was.
The Crossroads isn't a big town. You can get from one end to the other in about 5 minutes,
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of, I
maybe
guess
10 minutes.
walk through the northern residential areas and see.
Okay.
Just kind of jog.
But you're kind of like, you went north from the town center again, and you're kind of like at that four-way intersection right north of the town center. So you have to specify, like, are you going left, are you going right, east or west?
Okay. Guess we'll go left?
So toward the temple and the graveyard?
Maybe, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, unless anybody else has other ideas.
Alright. It's up. Yeah. I'll let you discuss it.
If I were a person setting things on fire, perhaps going to the temple would be. Would we want to go to a temple if you are someone who becomes fire?
I honestly don't know. I don't.
Might as well start somewhere, and then.
Okay, so you begin heading west toward the temple. You're on the street in the northern part of the town, and it actually doesn't take you long until you come across before you even get to the block, the area where the graveyard is, you're traveling along the residential area, and you pass by a locale that has clearly been burned down, and after a moment, it strikes you. This was the hostel you all visited when you were looking for Dr. Walden.
Oh, this is the hostel that Bo destroyed a bed at.
Yeah.
Yes. And the hostel is absolutely in cinders, burned down to nearly its foundations, and there's a crowd that is gathered out in front, and you see that there are a number of town guard that are directing onlookers away from the scene. On the sidewalk in front of the ruined building, you spy about half a dozen tarps with bodies underneath them, and there is this ever-present stink of charred flesh and burned wood that's just permeating the air.
I have a bad feeling about what the other buildings are going to be.
Oh dear. The Three Sisters Inn that we stayed at. Is that in the south part?
You have a map. You can look.
Oh, I do have a map. Sorry.
It's in the commercial district to the southwest of the town center.
It's close to the docks, yeah.
Do you guys want to go check out the inn? Or do you want to
Or do we want to
investigate here a
is
little
it
more?
is it like full of people and busy?
What, right now?
Yeah.
There's a big crowd out in front of this burned down building. It's still probably around. I would say it's actually getting a little dark. It's probably around, since you're traveling so long, it's close to 7 p.m. at this time. So the street lights are starting to go on, and the roads are thinning out a little bit, but there's still a number of people just all around.
Is there anyone who looks like they're in charge?
Make a investigation roll, I would say.
Okie doke. Investigation.
Okay. Ellen, you gaze quickly over the crowd and looking particularly at the guards that are nearby. And the person who immediately stands out to you is a elven man whose skin is a dark greenish purple. He's wearing these black leathers. He's got an eye patch over one eye, jet black hair that's pulled back into a ponytail, and he's got a sort of a 5 o'clock shadow. You've seen this man before. This was the sheriff that you encountered in the jail.
Oh. I point him out to everyone. He's like, well, there's the sheriff. I don't know if he even realizes Walden is no longer in his cell.
Well,
That was months ago.
I know.
How did we get Walden? Wait, did Walden break out of jail?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
used his
he
alchemy
like
bag
melted
to fucking.
his way out.
Maybe I missed. Was I there for that? I don't even remember that happening.
You were not there for that.
Oh, okay.
It came the next day, the next session.
Let's go ask him. I'm gonna like assuming you've pointed him out, I want to ask. It's go. Hey, do you know what happened?
So he's actually behind a sort of like a wall of guards that have cordoned off the area, and he seems to be investigating. He's like poring over the ruins. He's scratching his stubble a little bit, and he seems deep in thought as he's looking over this recent fire.
Okay, if he's behind the wall of guards, I want to ask one of the guards instead. Hey, do you know what happened here?
Just a stove fire. I nothing to look at here. You just be on your way.
If you're sure, I think I know a guy who worked here. Is he okay?
If you have any complaints or you need to find next of kin, I'd recommend waiting until the coroner reports.
Next of skin.
Okay. That's all I got.
If I like look at the bodies underneath just looking at them underneath the tarps from afar, can I tell if one is half orc sized?
Give me a perception check.
21 again.
You do see one tarp out of the half a dozen that are there that looks larger than the rest, and you can see a sort of a hand flopped out from underneath the tarp. It is slightly green, but moreover, it is mostly charred black.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I'll nudge Cecil and kind of point this out.
Oh.
Wait, I'm out of the loop. What's going on?
The owner of the hostel was a half orc.
Yeah.
Oh.
We like kind of bribed him that one time.
I don't remember that.
He was a Jersey half orc.
Yeah, he was a he was a Jersey half orc. Well, now he's a crispy half orc.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, so nice.
I'm not sure if there's much else we can tell about this.
No, let's go check on the inn if there's nothing else that we can learn from this right now.
So we're in front of the hostel right now.
Yeah.
Does it look like it was? We're in front of it. We're not inside it. Is it like?
No,
is it-
you're out on the street. You can't get even near the sidewalk because there's just a bunch of guards that have set up a perimeter.
They're not letting us near it. Okay.
No one. It doesn't
so
seem like anyone's gonna let you near.
How
it.
far away are we from it?
About 20 feet.
Is there anything about the building? Maybe someone else asked this. Sorry, I've because of the whole situation with Mel's family and me being all antsy and frustrated. I apologize. I've been kind of spacing out just because I've been mad. So I might have missed someone saying something. Does any of the wreck of the burn or like the way that it was burned? Does it look like? Does it resemble that one building we ran across way back that had like all the shit? We came across like that one building like the middle of nowhere, the middle of the path. You know what I'm talking about?
That place was also an inn.
Yeah. Is there any like? From out here, can we tell? Is there anything noticeable about it that looks like it resembled any markings or blasts or anything?
Make a perception check.
Okay. 14.
It's really hard for you to see right now because there's just a crowd of people and guards in the way. You'd have to get closer in order to really investigate the area.
All right. Sorry, I think I kind of interrupted what people were saying to do next. I just wanted to take a look at the building, but that's it. I'm done.
I lean into Cecil and say, Cecil, how long can you make someone invisible?
Let me check.
It's an hour, I think.
I think I need to double check.
It's an hour.
Oh.
Do you think
I literally used it in Tom's game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you can you can get me invisible and help me, and I can poke around in there for a bit?
Yeah. Is there like a building nearby that we can hide?
Yeah,
behind?
there are alleyways. There are other residential apartments nearby.
All right, I just sort of like
Duck into.
nonchalantly like walk into an alleyway and follow me. I don't want to make this inconspicuous.
Yeah, so I follow her.
All right, as soon as we're out of sight, I cast invisibility on Ellen and just go, okay, tap me or anybody in our party if you learn anything or if you've come back. Don't
All right.
try not to bump into anyone if you can.
I can do that.
Alright.
And then I'm gonna like sneak into the investigation scene.
Go free, my
Okay.
friend.
All right. So, Ellen, you are currently considered invisible.
Mhm.
You are considered heavily obscured for the purposes of hiding, which means I'm going to say you have an advantage on stealth rolls.
Yes.
So,
Oh my god!
I fade
Spirit.
from existence.
She
That's
left her mortal
disgusting.
coil behind.
okay, I'm good.
She stealthed into
Into another
fucking-
dimension.
Another-
into
she's in-
another
she's in-
dimension.
she's in the Critical Role universe now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ellen, you you taking advantage of your new lack of visibility, you make your way very quietly through the alleyways and around toward the site of the burned down hostel. Going around the back and through the alleyways away from the direction of the guards, and it doesn't seem there are any guards actually within the building proper. They seem to all be outside, waiting for the sheriff to make a decision on something. So you creep on in very carefully into this ruined hostel, and this place is little more than rubble. The roof has collapsed, leaving a pile of debris scattered around the foundations, among occasional burned out bed frames and tattered remnants of backpacks and sheets. You see a number of cindered wood piled up throughout. In fact, make an investigation roll for me.
Okay.
Now that you're actually in here and you're able to take a look around, you do notice right near the center seems to be what looks to be the radius mark of a blast of fire that erupted from the center of this establishment. Very similar to what you saw at that tavern on the Pilgrim's Path. You also notice as you're looking around, one of the piles of splintered and cindered wood that seems to have been largely undisturbed, either because the guards overlooked it or maybe it was just too large to move aside.
Can I go over to it and see what's up?
Absolutely. So you get up to this big pile. It's just it looks like a portion of the roof that has just collapsed on the floor, and it's probably about a bunch of just large pieces of wood that are burned and charred in various locations. Maybe in total, the pile is about 5 feet around. It's fairly big.
I'm not very strong. I'm gonna just whisper. I'm just gonna whisper. Well, it's him, it's them, whoever. It's Fireboy.
It's fine.
How can you tell?
The blast. It definitely came from a blast, just like the other inn that we saw way back on the Pilgrim's Path.
Great.
Let's see.
And like, does the roof? Is there like just a hole in the roof?
Yeah, the roof has come down. There's
Oh, yeah.
there's a few support structures that are still sort of hanging there, but the whole thing has just been incinerated.
Am I allowed to ask a question about the nature of the roof hole, even though I'm not in there?
Depends on what it is. You can ask.
The question I have is, does it look like the hole, to Alan's perspective, does it look like the hole was formed from something coming into the building or going out of the building?
That's not what it looks like at all. Most of the roof is gone.
Oh, I thought maybe it was like something with the person.
No, it's not like a hole in the roof. It's gone. The roof is gone.
Oh, okay.
It's not the hole in the roof. It's the whole roof is.
Oh, okay. So I was missing the W. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just. And then I'm gonna say, well, there is something strange here. There appears to be a block of rubble that seems undisturbed. It's fairly large. Sissel, if I try to move this, do you know if it breaks, if I won't be invisible anymore?
I think you
It
can.
would not. It's only if you attack or cast a spell
Yeah,
that the spell
yeah.
ends.
It's only if you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'll
I think you'll be fine. It's not just.
You
as long
can
as don't-
manipulate objects just fine.
Okay.
Just as
I'm
long
gonna
as you
try
don't try
to-
to cast a spell or kill anyone. Don't do that.
I'll try not to use any of my arcane arts. Uh, I'm gonna try to see if I can move the rubble and if there's something underneath.
Okay. Give me an athletics check.
Ooh boy.
Yeah, it's not. Don't send a
That's-
scrawny half elf to you grab onto one of the large pieces of wood that's sticking out there, and you start pulling it, and it's not budging. It's lodged in there good.
Oof. I definitely could use Mito or someone right about now.
Can you wait? Can I see the thingy in question?
You don't know which one she's talking about.
Okay.
You don't see Ellen, so obviously you don't know where she.
I don't know shit.
No.
Okay.
You're having some trouble.
It's fairly heavy. I'm made to be fast, not strong. Okay. Is this the only thing of note in this in the whole building?
That's this large pile of rubble. It seems like there might be something overlooked, but you obviously can't tell unless you were to get rid of the debris.
Okay. Is there? Do I see anything that could be used as a seesaw,
Give me an investigation
wedge,
check. Give me
a wedge?
Yeah, give me an investigation check. You find you look over the room, and you do find what looks to be some of the one of the shattered bed frames that looks like it might be sturdy enough to use as a wedge to push off the debris. You could certainly give it a go.
Okay, I'm gonna grab it, try to wedge it under.
Okay.
And then climb on top of the debris pile, and then jump on top of on the other side of try to seesaw it, I guess.
Okay. Give me an athletics check again, but this time with advantage because you're using a device.
Oh my god!
Holy fuck!
You stand on the
It's
thing,
worse.
and the wedge doesn't even move. You just sort of jump on it and then rebound off of it,
Oh my
and then
god.
fall on your ass.
Oh my god.
Those lightweight elves, man.
I'm just gonna be oh.
This may be a return to thing, or a thing we have to just find another clue,
Yeah.
because this is
Is there? Is this part underneath?
About how large is
up-
the interior?
The
This
interior is about. Hold on, I have to find the old map for it to give myself an idea. The hostel.
Is the part of the roof right above the wedge intact, or is that
no,
part
it's
gone?
not. It's gone. It's about 70 feet long. The entire hostel, 70 feet by about 50 feet wide.
Okay,
That won't work.
I'm just gonna start
how-
taking smaller
Please,
rocks and
hold
piling them on the.
hold
Okay,
on,
sorry.
Hold on.
Yeah.
How large would you say that these objects that are covering whatever the rubble are?
You'd have to be able to see them in order to appraise it. You're not in any position to really look at it.
I can't even look over.
You can't see
Like-
anything. None of you, the rest of you, have visibility unless you want to try to sneak yourselves into the buildings. Because you're basically out on the street with a crowd of people in front of you, and then a guard line, and then the actual cinders of the remaining frame of the building. It's not a very easy visibility.
I'm sure.
So everything like inside,
I'm
we
tall.
can't see it right now. It's just
You can see that there's just
I don't
piles
know
of
how
stuff
far
everywhere.
down this
You can see-
is.
You can see that there's piles of stuff everywhere, but you can't really get a good vantage point, especially you as a dwarf with all these people standing in your way.
What about me?
Goff, I'd say give me a perception check again. Since you're a little taller than everybody else.
17.
17. You can't get a great view. You kind of have to shuffle around a little bit. You definitely can have the height advantage. You also don't know where Ellen is, so
Yeah.
unless she were to tell you where she is, you can't really discern which pile she's talking about. But just generally gazing into it, you kind of can see maybe a dozen or so piles of rubble that.
Can he
They don't
see
really-
my wedge?
Oh, yeah, you actually see one of the piles looks like it has. You actually noticed this as it was happening, Goff, because you have the vantage. You did suddenly see like a piece of a wooden beam just start floating in the air and then wedge itself into
So-
the pile.
So I do see the
Start,
pile.
You do see the pile. It looks like it might be about, give or take, maybe 50 pounds.
The whole pile?
The whole pile. It's just a bunch of charred and rotting wood that's fallen down.
Ellen can't move 50 pounds?
So
Holy
like,
fuck.
can Goff point this out to me to allow me to have visual on it? Or
If you
would
ask him.
Can he lift you
Are
on
you
his
asking him?
shoulder?
Yeah, like I'll ask. What is she struggling with?
What? Yeah, I guess I'll describe that. I'll write down, or maybe I'll even try and draw what I see, and
Okay.
write some stuff about what you told me, what I
just
know.
need to know from the DM if I can cast a spell on it if this happens, because otherwise I'm gonna have to do something else.
I described to
I-
on a note piece of paper what I of Goff have learned through my vision.
So you read Goff's note and you have a general idea of what you're dealing with here.
Can I just say that Goth also sees that, like, do the diving board motion as Ellen is just hopping on it?
Yeah,
I
you're
cast
right.
animate objects on all of the beams or whatever, and just have
Anime
them
objects?
animate objects,
Anime objects.
and just have them kind of levitate a little bit out of the way,
Okay.
like float 5 feet off the ground. Or something.
Okay, so I'd say that for the sake of expediency at this point, you get an idea of what needs to be done. You can't really see from your vantage point, so you get Goff to kind of like give you a piggyback ride, giving you vantage point to cast your spell. And Ellen, from your perspective, you suddenly see this pile in front of you start to move, and pieces of wood begin floating up and away, little tiny pieces of it, as one after another of these things start shifting out of the way. And after very carefully doing this, actually, Harith, I'm going to have you roll a sleight of hand check,
Okay.
because you're trying to do this without attracting too much attention.
Well, it's not good. It's a 7.
I stand over to the side and I sneeze loudly.
To make another one.
Wait,
Make another sleight of hand check, because Sissel is giving you
I mean,
advantage.
it's not. It's 11.
Uh,
Slightly better.
It's what you needed for the DC, because it is still a very busy area. There's a lot of people around who are also distracting the guards. So you managed to. It's not elegant, but you managed to cover up what you're doing. Ellen, as the pieces of debris move away, you after a few seconds of this, you manage to clear away the full pile, and the strange thing is there was nothing actually underneath it at first glance. I need you to make a perception check.
Okay.
Okay. You squint, and with your dark vision, you see what looks to be something burned into the wooden floor and subsequently covered over by ash.
Okay, I'm gonna like blow away the ash, I guess. Like,
Um, as you do so, you brush it away, you blow the dust away, and you find, as if carved by a finger, a number of words burned into the wood. And
Goff, write this down in
they
steel.
are as follows.
Okay, I'm writing it down. I got my pen ready. Oh, Jesus. Oh God. Goff starts sweating.
Oh,
Another thing you notice, as you're standing there looking over, and you sort of look to the left of where these words are written, you see a burned-in boot print that's leading away from them.
okay. Which direction does it go in?
It's leading toward the north, out the back, toward the city walls.
Let's head toward. Can you guys get to the
Sure.
backside, the north side? There's a boot print leading there, and then do I want to? I'll just like blow over it, try to make it look like I haven't been like
Messing with it.
messing. Yeah.
Messing.
I'll gently set the beams down and then end my spell.
Okay. Alright, so Ellen, you begin heading out toward the back of the hostel, making your way out into a muddy back courtyard, which is in between all of the other buildings. And as you look down at the ground, you see the same boot prints here, charred into the dirt itself, into the muddy ground, moving in a straight line north toward the town walls in the distance.
Okay. You guys should probably come here quickly. There are footprints.
Footprints.
But footprints.
Where are the footprints?
They are on the. Are you guys there? Yet?
I'm following Sissel or
Okay.
her. I don't know where we are.
Are you,
I think I missed where like they were leading to the north side of what?
the north side of the building.
The building, they're
Oh,
leading out
okay.
into the courtyard that's in the middle of all the other buildings, and they're continuing north toward the northern part of the city walls.
Yeah, I
Okay.
said. Do you think you guys could make it to the back of the building,
Yeah, assuming there's no guards.
or like behind the building? Yeah.
Yeah, there's no guards. You turn down another street and you make your way through a number of alleyways and eventually reconvene with Ellen, who is still invisible, but you go to where she.
You guys see the boot prints, right?
Do
A
we?
voice asked. Do we?
You see them on the ground. They're very
Let's-
clearly burned into the dirt.
We should
Let's let's follow them, shall we?
They're fairly easy to follow. You find that they are just heading in a straight line. They go north through this courtyard. They go through another alleyway, and they head toward the wall. And when you get to the wall, the boots lead right up to the edge, and then you look upward toward the stonework of the wall, and you see the same boot prints on the wall itself,
Okay.
walking upward.
I hop on my
Sissel?
broom.
I'm also on her broom without.
Oh, it's really creepy when you do
I'm
that.
gonna
Do you
stand
want
here.
do you want to drop invisibility while you're behind me?
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
I can't.
I'm gonna drop the spell.
I can't drop invisibility.
So I can see who's sitting behind me.
It's just me and Goff and Roscoe left.
Roscoe,
behind?
yep, on the other side.
Alright.
I guess
Let's-
watch them up and just look at both of you. Just kind of
Okay.
shrug.
So you hop on the broom and you ascend up and over the wall, and you follow these tracks that are just leading up the wall as if he was just walking up the wall. You get to the very top of the wall, and the wall itself is maybe about 5 feet thick, just
Oh.
solid stone. And when you get up there, you find that there is the same characteristic blast mark as if something took off from here.
Well, he flew off again. I said that into the earring.
How high up are they? High is this
About
wall?
30 feet.
Oh, very
it look
tall.
like?
Okay.
Does it look like it just goes straight up, or is there a trajectory to it?
Give me.
I'm not up there.
Yeah, you're not up. Oh, well, you can say that into your ring.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
assumed that
yeah.
you were saying it into
Okay.
the.
Ellen or Sissel or both of you, I'd say make a survival check.
Survival.
Survival.
Damn.
Wow.
Oh. Hot
Cecil
damn.
knows immediately.
I've been
Sissel.
tracking. Oh my god!
Shit.
What the fuck? Sissel
Holy
and
fuck,
Ellen.
guys.
Holy shit.
You
Holy
know.
shit.
A
something-
pair of
Sissel-
sunglasses appears out of nowhere and drops onto the both of us.
Sissel and Ellen, you've been spending so much time around Goff lately that you are starting to get some tracking skills of your own. And as you look at this this blast off mark, you notice it does go off as at a trajectory, sort of in a northern direction. And as you track where you think it might be heading, you look along. So you look north, and north of you are the plantations. And between the plantations and the city proper is a dirt road stretching from east to west, lined with trees. And as you look north, and you look at the trees that are lining this path, it would be hard for most people to notice, but you instantly recognize that the very tips of some of these trees, they're missing some of their leaves, and they look like they've been singed. And it's in a straight northern line.
Well, he went straight north.
Straight
What,
north.
to Arcadia?
Not directly cardinal north toward Arcadia. It looks like it's heading in a northerly direction toward the woods.
Well, he went north towards the woods. Do
Uh.
we want to see?
It's getting dark though, isn't it?
It's about
Yes.
7:30 at this point in the evening.
Well, we might as well. This was last night, right? He could still be around.
Yeah. They,
Was it last night?
It's yesterday,
it was-
wasn't it?
It was the
yeah.
previous evening. Happened overnight.
The tops of the trees are singed and
Wait,
stiff.
I'm confused by the timing of this. So we learned about this happening.
You learned that there were fires happening.
Oh, so this is the most recent one.
Yeah,
Yes,
this
this
is the
is the
They
most
didn't all
recent
happen.
recent
one.
I thought they all happened the same night, like a week ago.
No,
Or something.
this is the most recent one. It happened just the previous night. You learned that from the guard.
Okay.
So we're gonna
Head back the way we came a little bit.
a little bit, only a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. However, everyone else wants to do it.
I want to try.
So you all
I'm on a roll.
reconvene. You all reconvene on the northern gates, and I want anyone who wishes to give me a survival check.
You got it, boy.
Well, that wasn't as good.
Oh, it wasn't.
Oh my
19.
fucking god!
My survival
Listen,
score.
Sissel's been out in the woods with tackle for hunting shit. So
17.
What is Roscoe doing? What's that old hound doing? Let's find
What's that
out.
old hound doing?
Let's find out how Roscoe does, because I think he has proficiency in
A
survival.
good boy.
He does have proficiency in survival. Oh, okay.
Oh.
17. Okay. So Roscoe puts his nose to the ground, and he and Sissel seem to get a beat on this immediately. He by scent, Sissel by tracking the direction of the burned trees, and all of you are frankly seeing this. It's not. Now that you know what to look for, it's fairly obvious. You begin heading northward, and it seems to pass right over the plantations. You can notice, strangely enough, on one of the plantations, which one? On think it might have been on the orchards.
Whisper-
No, excuse me.
Cornwallis.
Cornwallis Manor. As you look over at the manor house and you see that the weather vane on it seems to have melted slightly. And you continue heading north, and you head north right out of town again. Eventually, you see that the tips of the trees are getting a little bit harder to see as they're heading into the forest proper. But they seem to be heading in that general direction.
Into the woods.
Into the woods.
All right. So you make your way. You get out of town and you take a left, heading into the thick forest that surrounds the crossroads. And you're moving. You walk for about 5 minutes toward where you last saw these burned out trees. The first thing you notice as you start moving into this area is that there is no characteristic sound of wildlife. There's no chirping birds or skittering squirrels or buzzing insects. It is uncommonly quiet here. The air is almost still. And it feels slightly warmer here too, despite the fact that the cold winter winds have begun to move in.
I don't.
It feels like we're going in the right direction.
We are definitely going the right way.
This was how it was too the last time when we spoke to the birds. They were all frightened of it.
Yes, I remember.
But it wasn't still warm when we spoke to that bird, was it?
No.
We were at the aftermath after it had launched in a clearing.
On your guard.
Okay. I'm gonna need all of you to, or whoever wants to once again give me another survival check.
You got it.
Yeah, this was better, but not as good as it's been.
Let me get one. So 23 from Ellen, 17 Thistle. What did you get, Goff?
20 total, not natural.
20 total. Roscoe does a whopping 16. Okay. Ellen, you're the first one to notice this, but as you continue north, in northwest-ish, you're heading in the direction of what feels like you're almost operating on heat, hot or cold. Like you start heading in a direction, you get a sense that maybe the direction you want to go is where it gets warmer, and so you head in that direction. And as you're all progressing onward through the forest, the smell in the air starts to grow somewhat smoky. And you look at the trees around you, and for the first time you start noticing that there are less and less of them have any foliage on them. And this
I'm sad.
This continues for quite some time until you find yourself in a large clearing.
Oh no.
Oh, lovely.
And it looks like it used to be a forest here, but many of the trees have been reduced to cinder, and any remaining plant life is dead. The grass is gray. The trees are barren. And in the center of the clearing, you spy the remains of a burned-out cabin, its wood supports charred black.
Is it still standing?
Somewhat. It's burned out. There's barely a roof on it, barely any walls, but it's still somewhat standing, yes.
How far
Let's
away are
see
we?
what's there.
You're about 30 feet.
Okay.
It's still hot. Let's head in there because I want this
Yes.
mystery solved.
Is
There
there
are
like
some-
are there like
Said, because
are
we
there,
might, if somebody's
sorry.
there, we might tip them off.
Oh, true.
how recent is whatever happened? Like are there still like embers like falling in the air?
There's
like
still
ash?
wafting smoke drifting from this cabin a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, in that case,
There are some ashes in the air.
Ellen is just gonna.
Oh.
Oh.
A nat 1 gets you a 14.
That's
Christ.
horrible.
Depends on whether Falcon
Still higher than Roscoe.
Ah,
Are we all rolling stealth?
Might as well.
Wait, is Alan still invisible?
No, we dropped invisibility because it was freaking
Oh, okay.
Sissel out.
Okay,
Are we all doing it?
it's up to you.
You can if you want. You don't have
I mean,
disadvantage.
if we're still 30 feet away from the cabin, I think I'll just hang back and watch. I know I'm big. Too darn big to be sneaking around like this.
Him big.
Him big.
So I'm gonna keep an eye on everybody.
Okay.
I'm not trying to sneak, so I'm just staying in one place.
Okay. All right. So who is heading in?
Ellen is.
Ellen
Sissel
is. Well,
is.
okay.
Are
Roscoe's
they
going
going into the cabin?
Are you going into the cabin?
I'm staying. It's fine. I'll just stay here and keep an eye on. And I'll run in if I need to.
Yeah, it's within your range. Yeah.
Okay. So I need a marching order.
Ellen will go first because she's normally supposed to be the sneakiest one.
Sissel's going behind Ellen and tackles.
Also because
Doing
dark
things.
vision.
Okay. So Ellen, then Sissel, then Roscoe. I'm assuming is Heraith staying outside? I missed that.
Yeah, I'm going to wait until sneakier people can tell me what's going on.
All right. So Ellen and Sissel, you and Roscoe quietly make your way toward this cabin. Ellen, as you start making your way up the rotting staircase, you lose your balance a little bit and your foot crashes through one of the brittle pieces of wood. And you pause and you hold your breath, and there is no sound from either the inside of the cabin or without. Do you continue?
Absolutely no sound that I hear.
You don't hear anything stirring. Well, you make a perception check.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Feast or famine.
Yeah, you do not notice if there's anything. You don't hear a thing from the cabin. You don't hear anything from the surrounding woods.
Can I throw roll 20 in dice jail?
Sorry.
If only.
It's okay.
Do you continue within?
I don't hear anything, so yeah.
Okay.
I turn to Sissel. I think it's all clear.
Are you okay?
You
I
managed
may
to.
have hit myself a little hard
Be
trying to...
careful.
Yeah, it was hard for you to focus and pay attention because as you put your foot through the wood, it splintered a little bit and it hurts. It hurt your ankle. You managed to very carefully pull your foot out and then creep up toward the door. There's no roof on this cabin. The walls are entirely charred black, and as you step inside, you smell the dull, smoky smell of burning wood. The two of you have to pretty much cover your mouth and nose in order to avoid choking on the smell. The entire interior is absolutely in ruin. The furniture is charred to nothing. There are, I'd say at this point, as you're standing within, you're kind of like in a hallway. There seem to be the barest frames of some interior walls that open into a room to the left, to your left, and then continue on beyond into another hallway.
Okay. Let's. Which way do you think we should check out?
We can check out the room really quick. I don't
Right.
know why we came in. We're in a burning building. Just watch your step. Make sure the floor doesn't cave in again.
Alright, yeah. If I look around, do I see, like... You know how, like, the blast marks have, like, a radio thing going?
Yeah.
Where, like, you can see which
Are you still
way
in the
is
hallway
center?
that you entered in?
Yes.
Okay. What are you looking for specifically?
Like, you know how, like, there's, like, the blast mark is, like, sort of has the, like, line patterns pointing towards the center of the
Mhm.
blast?
Mm-hmm.
Do I notice that
Give me
anywhere?
an investigation check.
Okay, I swear, vote. Please. Thank you.
Ellen, you do not see anything like that inside the cabin, but what you do notice as you moved into the cabin itself, on the door frame to the cabin, you notice that there's something charred into the side of it, and as you look closely, it looks like the grip of what might have been someone's fingers holding onto the door frame.
I pointed out to Sissel and said, "Well, they're here. They were here. Maybe are."
Alright. Just be careful. Let's keep going.
Which way do you head?
The room looks like it's only a room, right?
Did you look inside of it?
No. I'm gonna peek in.
All right. You peek your head around the corner and you see in front of you what looks to have been a living area or maybe a kitchen. There seems to be a ruined, almost melted stove. And to your left, as you look, there looks to be a burned-out hearth from a fireplace, and a couple of sofas that have just been absolutely destroyed. I'd say make an investigation check right now.
Investigation.
Just Ellen.
Well, do you look too,
Yeah.
Sissel? Yeah, you give me an investigation check too.
It's not as good, but...
Okay. Well, the two of you, as you peer in, you do notice on the ground in one of the corners appears to be a charred skeleton.
Oof.
And as you're peering at this, something catches your eye on the wall. And Ellen, it looks similar in nature, covered in ash, similar to the scrawlings that you found in the floor of the hostel.
Oh dear. Let's see what it says. I do the blowy thing.
Okay, so you walk up to the wall and you blow the dust away, the dust and ash, and you squint. Sissel, you can't see anything because it's almost pitch black here.
Yeah.
But Ellen, in your dark vision, you see that there are words clearly written all over this wall. And you run your hands across it just to get an idea of what the words are. And as you back away, you realize that on the surface of this wall, scrawled over and over and over again, is one word.
Oh fuck!
I turned to Sissel and just.
I just thought of that fucking moment when Travis hears the first mention of his old herd being involved in something, and Travis just goes, "Oh fuck me!"
I just turned to Sissel like, "Do you know about this?" Okay.
I'm just gonna turn around and start walking out.
Okay. So you both head out toward the exit of the cabin?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, so they know. I like go out and
As you're
whoever it is knows
heading out,
Sissel.
before the two of you get outside, Goff and Hiraith, you spot a glow from the outskirts of the clearing. There's a red and orange light licking at the tree line. And then you hear this large, pained gasp that echoes through the woods around you.
I don't hear this. I rolled a nat 1.
Can
Making my way downtown.
I
Walking
pinpoint
fast.
how far away it sounds?
Sounds close. It
Walking
sounds
faster.
50, maybe 30 feet away.
My
You
stealth
what
is
direction?
bad.
You see, I'm telling you,
Oh.
you see a figure step out of the forest. It's a man's silhouette, wreathed in a swirling flame, his body glowing like molten lava. He stumbles out into the clearing, and you can see two pupils burning a light within the swirling inferno. His head turns toward you and toward the cabin, and he begins to slowly stalk forward. At this point, we're gonna go to the map. So I'm gonna
Can I
need.
take this?
I'm gonna
brief
need some more
second-
initiative rolls.
I rolled
Take this
stealth
brief
with.
second just to say into the thing. He's outside. He's outside.
Oh wait,
I'm
no, that's
Did my stealth
that's-
count? Because I rolled it.
When did you?
I rolled it while you were describing him.
Yeah. I did.
Yeah,
We
I
both
would say.
did.
Well, you don't know if he's noticed you or not. He's
Yeah.
looking for the cabin right now. I'm gonna need
Ignore
all
the
of you to roll
stealth
initiative.
roll because that was me trying to roll initiative.
How do I add him again? Boop.
My initiative is 9.
Roscoe and Goff. Initiative for Goff is 9. Let's get
9.
9.
Nice.
The burned man. And then Sissel, and then Roscoe. I need to roll Roscoe's initiative. Where is he? Okay. All right.
Oh fuck.
Okay.
Oh fuck.
It is the Burned man's turn. As you see this man on fire standing on the outskirts of the clearing, he looks toward the cabin.
I put my hand on Hurry's shoulder, kind of in a
And then he
defensive
turns.
way.
He looks toward Goff, you, and
Beep.
Hiraith. He starts moving forward. And that's his
Towards
turn.
us.
Yep.
He just
Moves
moves like 2.
10
okay.
feet forward, and then that was his turn.
Okay.
I'm gonna whip out my viol and I'm going to play that very grating atonal song again. I'm gonna cast some synaptic static on him,
Okay.
Oh.
which that's
Does he give the impression that he's like malicious? Or can we not really tell because he's
It-
just like fire?
he's like been fucking setting everybody on fire.
That's
and
true.
burning
He has killed
and-
people. That's true. You're
This is-
right.
we-
Yeah.
we've
You're
seen
right.
this many
You're right.
times.
You're right. I'm with you. Okay.
This is an intelligence saving throw
Okay.
to the DC of 16.
Oh, that rolled off the table. Sorry. Okay. So, let me just look up the details on that spell because there's like a damage component, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say you see him clutch his head in pain. Roll the damage on it. It's 8d6.
Oh.
Oh,
okay.
Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
As this burst of static fills the air, and then he's holding his head. He seems dazed a little bit. Ellen.
I'm gonna real quick also like kind of add a little coda on the end of that song
Oh,
where it is
I
a
forgot.
very like moving and kind of like I don't even know words for music anymore. I play defense song,
Okay.
so everybody gets +1 AC.
Okay. What is my AC? Okay.
Brings us to only people within 30 feet of Hiraith.
Oh,
So
okay.
Oh,
really just
I'm also
Roscoe.
gonna like 5, 10,
Take cover.
20,
Okay.
25. That's as far as I can get.
That brings us to Ellen.
Okay. So I'm just like I'm still sort of just. Oh wait, no, I heard her say he's here, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I said
Yeah.
that into the
Okay.
hearing.
So I'm gonna first thing I do is just he can fly, so action to pull my wings out.
Okay.
Where am I?
You're still in an enclosed space, so
Damn. I know. And then I'm gonna 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Oh,
Um,
hi.
as soon as you get within that range, you immediately burst into flames.
Is there like flame radiating off of him that far? Or is it
Just
like
as soon as Ellen,
What?
you pull the wings out and start heading toward this direction. And as soon as you get within 20 feet of him, you feel this intense heat wave get over you, and your clothes ignite, and you are currently considered on fire.
Oh my
I
god.
fly. Wait, why can I not fly? Oh, I'm on the ruler. And then I take my wings and then I fly, I guess another 30, 10 feet up, and 20 feet, 5, 10, 15, 20 feet this way.
Okay, you're still currently considered on fire, so at the end of your turn,
Help!
you take 6 points of fire damage.
Stop, drop, and roll.
I barrel roll.
You have to like spend a turn to put yourself out or something.
Yeah, you
right?
have to take an action to turn to put yourself out. Or someone else would have to do it for you. That your turn? Or are you gonna...
I'm gonna
You still have your
check
action.
him. No, I don't. My
You-
wings are out.
Oh, right, that was your action to use the
Oh,
wings,
it's
right.
the action?
Yep.
Wow.
That's
Uh,
why Ellen typically does it before a combat.
but this time I was just like, ah!
Okay.
Nothing's happening. I'm gonna insight check him while I'm on fire.
Alright, roll. Okay. He is inscrutable.
Ugh,
He's just
What?
fire.
he's fire.
He's
Oh,
fire.
boy.
Goff, it's your turn.
Okay. Is there any? Am I like behind anything? Or am I just like crouching down in
You're
the
just
field?
you're just crouched down in the field.
Okay. I'm gonna.
These are
I
like
saw that-
stumps.
Okay.
These are like
Um,
burning trees. As he comes into contact with them, they start
I'm
igniting.
gonna run up and like kind of. I don't know how much this even covers me because I'm huge, but I'm gonna.
No, it
kind of
doesn't.
take-
There's no cover behind that. It's like basically
Okay.
a stool
What is this
for
big
sitting
thing
on.
right here?
That's that's a campfire that's put
Okay.
out.
All right. I just kind of shift a little bit and kind of run. Well, no. I'm gonna move over here, and I'm gonna Goth thinks something to himself, and I'm gonna cast Create Water. I'm gonna rain down, create rain in a 30-foot cube around him.
Okay.
I don't know how big.
I'm looking it up. Control water, or create or destroy water.
Yeah, well, I'm
It's
creating
a first
it.
level spell.
Yeah.
So created water, you can create up to 10 gallons of clean water within range in an open container. It has to be container.
Alternatively, the water falls in
it
the
falls
rain.
in a 30-foot cube. Okay, so 10 gallons of water. Okay, so you hold your hands up and your tattoos glow, and a bunch of the sky seems to open up locally around the burned man, and rain begins to fall, and he roars in pain as steam begins to flood out into the clearing.
I want it to be centered. Does it last is it just for the one turn, or does it last for a while?
It's instantaneous. It just says it's for the one turn.
It extinguishes exposed flames in the area. Okay.
You see it hitting his flesh or his body, and it's creating steam, but the fire is not going out.
Okay. Well, I guess I just do that then. And as a bonus action, I guess I'm just gonna bring out my shield.
Oh, your
My
spiritual
spiritual
weapon?
weapon. Yeah. My spiritual weapon, because I don't have I don't think I have many bonus actions. Yeah, I'm gonna bring out my spiritual weapon.
Okay, so let me give you control of that. Okay, where do you want it?
Just I guess next to him.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Wait.
You can
Has
attack.
Is it been within 48 hours? Are we still within that
Yes,
timer?
it's still within that time
That's
frame.
only on like melee
That's
weapon
melee.
attacks,
That's
right?
melee and ranged weapon
Ranged,
attacks.
okay,
Not,
right.
not and spell attacks that require an attack roll.
Okay.
Does this count?
Yes, because you have to roll. To
Okay,
attack
I'm
him.
gonna put it. Yeah, putting it in front of him, like kind of maybe if it'll distract him. Probably not, but you know. And
roll the attack on it.
yeah. Well, I rolled that 19.
Okay.
I'm assuming it hits.
That
but
that
plus-
that hits him. Yep.
Yeah, it's like a +8 or 9 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then my damage is the normal damage plus an extra D6. You said.
Yes.
My damage is it's a D8 plus my modifier. 7 plus 4, 11 plus another. Whoop, fell. Okay. 17.
17
Total.
points total.
Yeah, force damage.
All right. Your spiritual weapon materializes right next to the burned man, and it ricochets out and slams into him, and it doesn't even seem to move him. There's an effect that goes off as if the force damage sort of reverberates around him, and his body seems slightly damaged by it, but he seems laser focused.
Okay. And then I only shifted a little bit on my turn, but I'm going to take a couple steps back after that. Kind of like I run forward, throw my stuff out, and then I kind of retreat a bit, and then that's my turn.
All right, Sissel, that brings us to you.
Okay. Is the
You can't see anything from here. There's a wall in your way.
Okay.
Can I? Sorry, can I just scream into my earring? He sets you on fire by being close to him. He sets you on fire. It's fun.
You already
Yeah,
did.
Wraith also
Already
said
said something.
something into the
Okay,
earring.
yeah.
Is the roof like open?
Where you are, there's sort of like an overhang in this hallway. Seems to be one of the few places that still had some roof over it.
Okay. Where can I find the hole in the roof?
You'd have to run into one of the other rooms.
Okay. So like, if I like step in over here, is there?
Yeah, you could find a hole above you.
All right. I just want to like get. Is getting on the broom an action?
No, it's part of your movement.
Okay. I want to get on the broom and just fly straight vertically out of the views.
All right, so you fly up out of the cabin and you finally get a look at the burned man.
All right.
And your blood runs cold a little bit as there's a sort of a twinge of recognition.
Yep. And just as a precaution, because I've done plenty of stupid shit already, I'm gonna cast Globe of Invulnerability.
What?
Huh?
I have some fun now.
Oh, is this one of those things that makes the staff like?
Yeah. I gotta find the list. Give me a second.
Oh, is it wild magic? Oh
Yeah.
no.
This could be really good or really bad.
Okay. All right. Okay. What happens? The magic Sissel swirls all around you, and it. First of all, the globe of invulnerability goes off, so that's one thing. So you're in this globe of invulnerability. But I need you, as this wild magic swirls around you, to make a. Hold on a minute. Let's make sure I'm doing this correctly. A wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Okay.
Your form shifts and changes, and suddenly you've been polymorphed into a sheep.
What?
Oh no!
This is good.
Are you on the roof? Are you like
I'm
floating?
Yeah,
on
you
the
were
roof.
flying up. You were flying up. I'm gonna need you to, in your sheep form, make a dexterity check to hold on to the broom because you no longer have hands.
Hey, this is bad.
No!
So a sheep. Let's see if I have the stats for a sheep. I do not have the stats for a sheep. So just roll a d20 and I'll let you know if you succeed or failed.
Okay. Anyway.
You do not succeed as you plummet right off of the broom right back onto the roof, and you sort of roll a little bit. You take from the fall 4 points of bludgeoning damage, which is actually enough to knock you back out of the sheep form.
Oh.
Does
But
Sissel still have the globe on?
The globe doesn't move with her. It's just
so it's on
hovering
the
up there in
broom
the air. Yeah. The broom clattered to the ground back into.
so she can go back into it if she wanted.
I'm gonna have to get back on the room, completely embarrassed, and move back into the globe, assuming it's not out of my
Okay.
movement range.
All right. Roscoe's turn.
Like, I just want to like illustrate for us outside. We just suddenly heard like a magic spell go off, and then and then a clatter.
It's like the you fucked up ninja bunny,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
worse.
You fucked up your mudra.
And Goff just kind of shakes his head a little bit, and
Roscoe's turn.
oh, Roscoe.
He peeks out the
Careful,
door,
Roscoe.
and he doesn't really have any way of avoiding it. He runs forward, and you see his fur immediately erupt into flames.
No.
But he yelps in pain, but he is nonetheless going to run forward and try to do a
Roscoe.
flurry of blows
Roscoe,
on this guy. He unleashes a full flurry of blows on this creature. You see every single one of Roscoe's attacks land on the burned man, but the burned man seems to absorb every single impact, and Roscoe is left there wondering, what just happened? This has never happened before, and immediately he begins running. The burned man does not even attack of opportunity him. He just stands there, glaring. That brings us to the burned man. The burned man's gaze turns up toward the roof of the cabin, where he sees Sissel rolling in plain view, and he turns toward the cabin. And you hear this voice, mournful, echo out. Sissel.
Sissel?
Yes.
You have something you wish to tell us?
Sissel, as you're rolling around on the roof, as the burned man gets closer, you feel this sharp pain enter your skull, and your vision begins to blur. And no sooner does this take hold that your senses are suddenly assaulted by the surge of magical energy emanating out from the burned man, and there's a wave that suffocates you, and it feels oddly familiar, almost like a reflection of yourself. And the feeling overwhelms you, and your eyes roll back into your head, and darkness overtakes you. And you are currently unconscious.
Oh, jeez.
Like no HP unconscious, or like unconscious?
Just unconscious, no HP unconscious. For the purposes of this, no HP unconscious. She's just passed out, basically.
No, I mean, like, did she lose her HP though?
For the purpose of this, yes.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Do.
Kiraith. Oh, actually, as this is before your turn, he's still in the cube, right, Guff? He's still in the. I guess no, because it doesn't continue.
It was a one-turn thing. It doesn't
Yeah, it was a
continue.
one-turn thing. Okay. Kiraith.
Might do something stupid. Are there any windows or anything here?
Yeah, they're burned out. But yes, there's some windows there you can hop through if you wish to.
Be able to get over there. I'm looking at my spells. Fuck. Sorry, I don't know what I can do. I'm going to 5. Does it cost me like?
No, you can hop through.
I can't seem to get through.
Oh, whoops. I'll just put you on this side.
Okay.
This is a repurposed map. There were like lines there for line of sight stuff that are apparently still there.
5,
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, the icon won't go
Ooh.
into it.
10,
It's very weird.
That's weird.
15,
Into what?
20.
If you try to drag your icon through that line, it won't go in.
Huh.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
used for line of sight with dynamic lighting. Sissel's up on the roof right now. She's sort of passed out, unconscious.
Oh wait.
She's on the roof.
Can I modify my action? I thought she
Yes.
fell through into the building.
Mhm.
Okay. I
No.
was like out. Can you put me back outside where I
Yep.
was? Okay. I think I was right here. I can kind of see where she is.
Yeah, the roof isn't that high. You can
I
see her.
want to dimension door up there.
Okay.
Just trying
You
to-
appear on the roof. There's a bunch of holes all around. It's barely holding together under the weight of now 2 people. And Sissel is lying there unconscious before you. Her eyes are fully white and open, and her eyes have rolled back into her head.
Is the broom still floating around or on the
No, it's not. It's clattered to the ground.
in the
it's
building?
In the building, yeah.
Okay. I don't really have much I can do. If I wish I could hit my key of force, but I can't. If I cast like a level 1 healing word on her, what happens?
Do you want to try?
Yeah.
Okay. So you cast a level 1 healing word on her, and your restorative magics flow through her body. She doesn't wake up.
Okay.
Oh.
Fuck. That was my action and bonus action. It's 2 points. If I wanted to like grab her and try and like get her over my shoulder, is that movement or an action?
That would be, I'd say, I'd allow that part as part of your movement. You'd have half of your movement remaining to move her. If that's what you
Okay.
wish to do.
Yeah, I would like to do that. I will like. Of course, we're on like a roof. How far does the roof extend? I want to try and go south with her, but I don't know where
Okay.
the roof is.
There's holes all around it. It ends right around here, and then there's like a gap.
Okay, I'll just take her as far down that way.
Throw her. No.
Okay. So I'd say you get about here. You'd have to then like
Toss.
leap or toss her.
Yeah. I got spells, it's fine. But I'm just
You'll have
tapped for
to
this
toss.
turn, so that's my turn.
Okay. Ellen, you're still on fire.
I'm gonna put myself out.
Actually,
Like,
Roscoe is on fire too. He should have taken some damage. Yep, 5 points of fire damage.
I'm gonna use my action to like beat my wings against myself as I fly and spin wildly, and like put myself out.
Okay.
And then I guess with my bonus action, I'm gonna look at him. I'm gonna like, now that I'm not on fire, I'm gonna see if I can insight check him again.
Okay. Roll.
Oh.
32.
Oh!
Ellen, as you peer into this figure, it's very, very difficult, but you feel like you can kind of size him up. What you see gives you pause. There doesn't seem to be any obvious weak point. It seems to be almost like a force of nature, less a man and more of a just an unstoppable force.
We should run.
Goth, that brings us to you.
Do you say that into the earring?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. For my movement, actually, would it be like an action because the room was in the building, right?
Yeah. I'd say
Could
you
I?
grab it as you go by?
Yeah. Could I like dive in and grab it and fly out the hole?
Yeah. I'd say you grab it and you reappear next to Sissel and Hiraith. You're
Okay.
floating in the air now.
Yes.
Goth.
I don't know. Do I know what's going on? Did anyone communicate anything what's going on in the building or on the roof? Do I know anything about that?
No. You heard some strange sounds over your earring. When Sissel passed out, you just heard sort of like a choking sound almost, and then a thump.
I don't think Hirai said anything directly about it, but she probably just cursed a lot when the magic didn't work.
Okay. So I don't know what they're doing. But Ellen said to run. So I'm gonna start. What is Ross like? I'm gonna look at Roscoe and. Does he
Roscoe's
look
on
like
fire.
Okay. Well, no, but does he look like he's okay?
He looks confused and scared, which is saying something about Roscoe.
Okay. Seeing that and hearing Ellen say that, I'm gonna cast. I'm gonna cast create water again in the rainfall. I'm gonna cast it so it puts out Roscoe and it hits the burn man because they're just within this cube.
All right.
So I'm gonna look up to the sky and try and pull rain back down on him again, and try and hinder him and try and help Roscoe. And then I'm gonna start gesturing with Roscoe to start moving away, and I'm gonna start moving. I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
And then go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So this is what happens as you once again cast create water. The Roscoe's singed fur is finally put out. He is now a drenched dog, and you smell the smell of wet fur. The burned man once more, as steam is continuing to fill up this clearing around you, is pelted once more by even more water, increasing the amount of steam that filters out, and he roars and rears back, and your whole vision is now obscured by the steam, and with a final howl and a flash of light, the surrounding woods are silent.
Oh. Wait, for real?
Yeah.
I didn't think that was gonna do it. I was just trying to get away.
Did he just straight disappear? Did he like blast off or like?
You don't know. You just saw a flash of light.
Oh, okay,
it was
so
hard to
it's
see
just
because
steam.
I don't have like a. Hold on. There's just steam. Let me see if I have like an icon or a token that can represent this. That might work. I don't know.
Does it still feel hot like it did before?
It's
He just disappeared.
starting.
that's true.
Yeah. I don't really have an icon to represent this.
Wow.
Oh, maybe this. Maybe this will work.
Whoosh.
But like us from the perspective of of the roof, we didn't see something like go launching off into space.
No, you didn't see anything. No.
Okay.
Okay, it's still my turn?
Yeah.
Can I use my action? Can I roll like perception to see if I notice anything in the steam?
Yeah. Roll a perception check. I'd say
Does
with
it count it?
disadvantage because it is
Okay.
with steam.
As I'm backing up and I'm trying to kind of pull on, I kind of like grab Roscoe's fur a little bit. Not like I don't like pull all the way, but I kind of do like a gesture, like kind of pulling him towards like we need to get moving.
Okay.
And as I move, I look back. 12 total.
It's very hard to see anything. The steam is just obscuring the entire clearing where you are.
Okay, and I'm assuming it probably kind of happens simultaneously with Roscoe, but I move over down this way
Okay.
to try and get a better look at what's going on. Can I get a better view of what's going on the roof? Over
You
here?
see. I mean, you're tall enough. You can see your companions. Ellen is hovering in the middle of the air, holding the broom, and Hirai has an unconscious Sissel over her shoulder.
Okay. I don't know if they're looking, if they see me or not, but I'm gonna start doing like a gesture with my arms, like let's like get down here, and then I guess I'm just gonna. If I move my spiritual weapon around in the fog, if I move my spiritual, can I tell if it collides with anything?
Yeah.
I guess I
It
kind of
is.
start shifting it around like where I thought he was and see if it collides with anything.
Nothing.
Okay, so I'm feeling around with that and I don't feel anything, and so I guess that's it for me.
Okay. Sissel, I need you to make a death saving throw.
Okay. Okay. Yes, right. Death saving.
You just roll a d20, right?
There's a button for it actually on
Yeah,
this.
there is a button. I was looking.
Ooh.
That's a failure.
That's not
Oh,
good.
That's one
You
failure.
have a DM inspiration. Can't you do it for a reroll?
You can get advantage on it if you want. Yeah, that counts for death saves.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
Much
fine.
better.
You slip slightly back into the mortal realm. Roscoe, surrounded by fog, is. Hold on, I should put this on the
Oh, it's
map
on-
later because I
yeah.
can't fucking see shit. Roscoe is surrounded by fog and he can't see anything. He just starts backing out toward you. And that's going to be his move. Hiraith.
So Goff like gestured to go over there, right?
He was just kind of gesturing like with his arm, like, "Come on, like, we need to get out of here," because Alan said to run, so he's just following what Alan said.
Yeah, I'm also offering you the broom, since
All right, yeah. I'll take the broom and I'll get on and how am I handling Sissel in this situation? I guess I just kind of throw her over it, like she's over the back of a horse or something, and try to make sure she doesn't slip off. And I'll go like, what is it, 60 feet?
40.
50?
40?
I think it's 50 flying speed for the broom, right?
Well, we're not doing anything else, so we can do a dash. Is that like... I want to go far away this way. I don't know how far that is. Would it be doubled to 80? If I'm dashing?
Yes.
Is the broom only 40?
The broom is 50.
Oh, okay.
I'll just go this away.
This away.
I would technically go off the map, so I'll just like say, oh, I'm trapped in the building again.
Yeah, I'll give me a second. I'm writing something. Okay. Alright, so you go with Sissel, zooming up on the broom on off the map. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's your move? Anything else
Yes.
you're gonna do?
No.
Okay. That brings us to Ellen.
Ellen's gonna do the same thing.
Okay, so you zoom out.
Are you doing it-
We'll call turns for now, because
can I-
the immediate danger seems to have passed.
If I see them flying off, I mean, they're flying faster than I can go. As they're flying away and I see Sissel, can I throw a healing word towards her?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what happened with
Yeah, yeah.
the
So you
healing
see
word.
Sissel unconscious.
I cast my own.
You cast your own healing word. This time, it seems to take hold as the divine magic flows through Sissel. Roll healing.
Oh, healing words is I haven't cast healing word in so long.
D4, I think.
It's just yes.
A D69.
Don't like that.
7 HP.
Okay, so Sissel, you suddenly your eyes roll back, and you suddenly are conscious once more and have slumped over the broom as Hiraith is flying off. With you in tow. Okay, so the immediate danger seems to have passed as Goff, as you and Roscoe begin fleeing toward the forest after your companions. You hear a flash. A rumble and see a flash of light from about 200 feet off behind you in the distance in about the westerly direction as you hear another roar
Oh, fuck.
as he seems to be coming again, but he's far off at this point. And it seems to be a roar of frustration as having lost his quarry.
I guess we haul ass. We get out.
Okay. So you all run through the forest, dashing through the tree lines and making your way, making sure you don't trip over strewn branches. You hear the roars and howls of anguish and frustration receding into the distance, eventually making your way back out into the road north of the crossroads. You seem to have lost him.
Are we in the crossroads or are we on the path?
You're on the path north of the crossroads.
Oh.
Okay. Do we want to go home for the night? Can we go home for the night, please?
Where are we? What's happening?
Are we? We're in the path right now. Is everyone caught up to each other, or are we separate?
Yeah, I'd say you've caught up.
Is Sissel still in the air? Is she on the ground?
She is.
With Hooray.
I can fly her down.
I think Goff, like as quickly as possible, gestures to Haraith to like, or whoever, to Sissel, and tries to like pick her up. And I want to roll a medicine check on her.
Okay.
To see like if I understand what's wrong with her or what happened.
Can I describe to Goff what I saw to like
Yeah.
assist him?
Yeah, while I'm doing this, you tell me. I rolled a 22 total.
She seems to have fallen unconscious for no biological or medical reason. You don't know why.
Does anything look off about her now? Does she look like? Is her eyes okay? Like
She looks fine. She looks fine now.
Fuck. Okay. Goff looks very worried.
Well, it was a magical effect, right? I think Hiraeth, your healing was blocked on her.
Yeah, I tried to heal her on the roof and it didn't work.
Do you think it? Would you know anything about this?
Me?
Yeah, like, is there any magic that you went to some sort of magic school, right?
Not really, but I get the feeling I probably wouldn't, right?
I mean, you could see if
That'd be
anything seems familiar.
Arcana?
That would be
Right.
Arcana.
Yeah. Can I also roll to see if I know anything about any magic that can cause people to just go unconscious from healthy to immediately?
Well,
I'm gonna say
high.
Sissel. I would say you roll Arcana.
Mine's a
with
19
advantage.
total.
Yeah.
Hiraeth. I mean, you know that there's certainly. Okay.
Whoa!
Hiraeth, you certainly know that there's magics out there that can incapacitate people, stun them, or paralyze them. Not something that can just immediately take the vitality out of someone immediately like that. Sissel, yours is your insight is a little more personal. You have a moment to think about the wave of energy that flooded you, and it almost felt like like your own magic, your own signature reflected upon you, and it sort of makes you realize for a moment that the burned man might have a part of you.
That's
Ugh.
weird. That's really weird.
What's weird?
It feels. So I have a little bit of explaining to do, but I don't know everything about this. It feels when that happened, when I fell unconscious, it felt like a part of me, like he has a part of me.
Would that be why he seems to have this weird obsession with you?
Well, not entirely. So I grew up in Arcadia to a point before I lived with Myra. I grew up as a servant in the Vinto household in Arcadia. They weren't the best people in the world, but the first time my powers manifested, I was a preteen, about 13, 14, and I got into a bit of a fight with Lord Vento's son, Godfrey, and he came after me. I reached my hand out, and that was the first time I was able to create fire. And that fire, well, it lit him on fire. And from that point on, I just ran. I ran until I couldn't anymore. I ran south out of Arcadia because you don't really, if you're a person of my status, you don't really come back from that. So I ran. I wasn't sure what had happened to him after that, and I didn't really look into it, but that was him back there.
Okay.
Somehow he has a part of me, and I don't
Well,
know why.
you know how when I fight, I can sort of judge an opponent's weaknesses and find holes in their fighting styles.
Yeah.
Trying to read this person was not like reading a person. It was more like trying to fight odium. The idea of destruction or ruin or something of the sort, like more of a force of nature than a human, if that makes sense.
So it's like it's him, but it's not him.
Possibly, or him, but corrupted by great magical power of some sort. I don't. Would that be a good? Sorry, pal. Would that be like a good way of explaining what I saw with the insight check?
It didn't even seem to have a. It just seemed like a single-minded entity that was set on destruction, particularly Sissel's destruction.
It
Did
seemed,
I notice with my like spell with the synaptic static that it was anything different than like a human mind, or was that not really within my?
It
sense?
looked like it was affected by it, but it looked like the actual damage you dealt wasn't the full damage.
Okay.
It looked like it was
Like-
resistant to it.
When I cast my spell too, it seemed to affect it, but it didn't seem to affect it like it should normally.
Well, that's nothing sort of concerning.
well, it did bulk from water, so
It's on fire. Makes sense.
That makes sense.
we do have that one item that we stole from we liberated from
The canter. I didn't even think
Yes.
about that. I didn't even think about that.
Oh yeah.
That would help a lot, huh? Whoops.
We could just
Ellen.
dunk it
It's
into the
I
lake.
think Ellen has it, but like she literally did not have a free action that entire combat.
Seems like it's been chasing Sissel around then. You feel the same?
It definitely when I was studying it, it was focused on Sissel with an unnatural obsession. Well, specifically on her destruction.
If we ever face it, I feel like we're going to have to do it on our own terms and try and get it into some sort of trap, because just fighting it all out like this isn't going to do much.
And
What if he can do that to me?
and he just sort of well, what I saw was he there was just the bright light and he vanished, and there was the he vanished into steam, I believe.
Demons.
um
I don't remember.
I don't think and he came back anyway, like he reformed seconds. I don't believe it was even a full minute after we did that. Like we like all we could do was use the use his moment of like not being there to run away.
Just like fucking MG. Metal Gear Solid 5.
I was about
No,
to
it's
say,
ver-
this
it's
seems
a
like
very
a very
s-
Metal Gear Solid.
No, it's a very
mean,
good.
that
It's a
was
very
the
I
idea.
scary
have never
but it's-
played this game.
That's what you had to do. Like you could use water or whatever, but like he would just keep coming back. It was so fucking scary.
It reminded me of some stuff from.
He-
There was a burning guy in Metal Gear Solid 3 too.
He would do this thing where I think if you shot him with a bunch of bullets, or if he got shot with bullets, he would just shoot them all back out at people. It was really awful,
Ugh.
and they'd be like super heated. It was so fucking scary.
Heated.
So don't shoot him with bullets, because I know what he'll do. Shoot him with bullets.
I'll make
out of
sure.
character.
I will make sure not to shoot him with the bullets that I definitely carry.
Just like how Ellen will not use her arcane arts while
I didn't do all of this, right? I mean, I was. I mean, I was a kid. I didn't.
I don't think you intentionally did this, like, with this in mind, but
No.
he at the very least seems to think that you're the reason.
Well, I don't know if he
Like a
has.
normal-
I don't know if he has reason. Yeah, I don't know if he has reason. Just this, a sort of the shard of his intent, if you will, is just Sissel's destruction.
See what you did.
Thank you. I'm so sorry for everyone else.
Are these?
I don't get it.
Everybody else should just read Sanderson books and we can
Oh,
have
yeah,
fun.
I figured.
Sissel just sort of like curls into a ball and groans like, my head hurts.
I think Goff is probably still like kind of holding her, like what's the I guess it's it sounds weird to use it, but like bridal style. I think
Yeah,
is that the word you like?
just
Yeah,
Princess Carrie.
Yeah.
It's like Sissel's
yeah. I
just,
think he's still
Sissel's
holding
just,
her, so he probably I think Goff kind of pulls her close a little bit.
Sissel's just fine with this. Sissel is 7 HP.
Yeah. I'm gonna I'm gonna
having a
heal her
good
little
day.
more. I'm gonna use a 3rd level cure wounds. I don't think it really matters unless we get
Okay.
fight
So
something again.
that's
But
3d4.
no,
Oh,
cure
the
wounds.
cure wounds, not healing word. Okay.
Man, good rolls on that. Too bad it probably won't matter for too much longer. But 22 HP for Sissel.
22. Cool.
Goff kind of hugs Sissel while holding her, and while doing so uses cure wounds.
Thank you, that helps. So what are we going
feel
to
like
do?
if we want to deal with this, we need to look into more what happens in the aftermath of you burning this guy, and also see if we can research what sorts of magic might have done this.
Well, you're going to have a little bit of trouble with that because back when we had other priorities, but after we dealt with the initial thing with the, that thing that happened in Arcadia where there is a bunch of cultists and
Oh yes,
monsters
yes.
came out, and we found out it was a dragon person, and I passed by just sort of, retracing old roots, and the Vento household is burnt down. So
You don't say.
that happened a while ago, but that happened. They were kind of assholes anyway, but there were other people in there, so.
At the very least, you know that Madeline Vinto, the lady of the house, is still around. She's the Chief Justice right now because she took over Arthur Beaumont's position once he went into seclusion.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I remember you mentioned that name like forever ago, and it happened too fast, and that was before I was recording, so I couldn't write it down because I was writing down a bunch of other stuff at the time, and I forgot about it.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, well, I think.
Chief Justice, wow, yeah, that'll go well.
Oh dear.
I mean,
I don't
I
think
feel
Cecil's
like-
going to be involved in that questioning.
the last time we got involved with the Chief Justice, we killed his son, so let's not.
I mean, that
I mean,
seems to
he
be what
didn't-
happened again here.
It technically, that's not.
Eat the rich.
Eat the rich.
Eat the rich.
Eat the rich. Don't mention my name, please. If you go ask about this.
We won't.
Goff, when you say that, Goff looks down at you, and you can't really see it because of his huge beard and mustache and like his like shrouded face. But you see, he puts his fingers up and like he's holding a zipper and drags them across where his mouth is. And you can see his cheeks bend a little bit, like he's smiling, and you can tell he's making a really bad joke. He doesn't
Good.
say anything. He doesn't speak.
He hasn't made a joke in forever. I'm happy.
Oh, God made a joke. So, are we going to ask around, or you guys going to ask around? Not me. I will disappear into the thicket forever.
Are we heading back to Arcadia? What are we doing?
We could.
Oh. Ellen's
Well,
thinking about going home. So.
I would very much like to be home. I would like to. Yes. Can we? Do we have other business here?
We should get our horses.
We should get our
We
horses.
should get our horses.
Let's get our horses and go home.
What do you say, Alex?
Let's go get our horses and don't leave them behind again.
Yeah.
This
Horse
town doesn't
logistics.
have a. This town doesn't have a teleportation system. That's
No.
it.
Well, it does. It does actually. Never learned it. It was one of the options
Oh.
that you had. Remember, I gave you.
Oh yeah,
Remember,
yeah, you're right.
Thrusters was one of them.
It is late, so if we wanted to go back to Arcadia now, we probably want to teleport because I think how long does it take to travel the
Like-
Pilgrim's Path?
It's going
Like,
to take you another
half a
like
day.
18 hours or so.
Yeah, so
Or
if we
even
wanted to go back to
like,
Arcadia
pushing
now,
exhaustion for both you and your horses.
yeah. So if we wanted to go back now tonight, we'd have to use that Cecil's teleportation, and that would cost her materials. So that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cecil, would you like to learn this place's circle, just in case?
I certainly wouldn't mind. Don't we need permission for that though?
We probably do.
Yeah.
Who do you think? This place
Probably
doesn't seem to be very organized.
It's also about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So it's not
Oh, it
really
is.
close.
I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
Do we think we should just, I hate to be the voice of reason, I really do. But do you think we should just rest at an inn or something and then just head home in the
Yeah.
morning?
How about the Three Sisters Inn? I would very much like to sleep in a place that's probably guarded by a powerful being. Yes.
Yes.
So you head back into town?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you make your way southward through the town. And the first thing you notice as you're passing down the main street past the town square, you make a left, or actually I guess it would be a right from your perspective. You make a right toward the road where the Three Sisters Inn is upon, and as you're heading down that road, you pass where the Crossroad History Museum was, where that old man was, and you had seen all those exhibits. It is burned down.
Oh no!
And then you continue on toward the Three Sisters Inn, and on the corner, you find it is burned down as well.
Oh no! This is personal now.
I mean, it wasn't before.
It was personal, but now it's really personal.
Like, no, if we try and stay at any of these inns, it's going to just end up with people getting hurt.
Hi.
We didn't even stay at the first inn that was Walden.
You went there.
We touched it. We touched it, and now it's burnt down like everything else we touch.
I mean, at least we can be sure that the innkeeper is safe, right? I mean, we're pretty sure she if she's lived this long,
I hope so.
it's probably okay. So how about the witch's familiar?
But
The
if we
tavern?
stay-
Are we discussing where to stay?
Oh, they don't have lodging.
No, they were just an eating place.
Again, I don't really want to stay anywhere, knowing that this is what happens to them.
Hey, is the Hawk Estate still? No.
No. No.
No.
No.
No.
We might have to get the
No.
horses and go and try and find someplace secluded.
We can camp
Forest
out,
or-
I guess. Because good things happen when we can't in the forest near here.
Well, I'm just saying. Or we can teleport, but we're gonna have the horses with us. And we know how that went last time.
I mean,
We teleported the horses with us.
Who cares if
Yeah.
people look at us? They work for
People
us.
can look at us weird. It's not the weirdest thing that's happened in that tavern, probably.
I mean,
The concern is not whether people look at us. It's just the problem that it costs Cecil materials, and that's up to her. Like if it's
Cecil, would you be willing to use chalk?
I can use chalk. I can do it. I will do it.
So we're teleporting back
W-
tonight?
would
All
you
of the
be-
chalk
would-
is gone.
Dear Mom,
Dear Moira,
all the chalk
all of
is-
the chalk
All
is
of
gone.
the chalk is gone.
I don't know what happened. Please send the chalk to. Oh, we live in the same place. Please give me chalk when we hug tomorrow.
Yay. Also, that guy that I burnt that one time is after me now. It's
He's
not
he's
good.
mortal. He's angry.
He's angry. He's on fire.
I
And he
die when I'm
burns
near
down
him.
everything we touch.
We need to deal with that before he burns down the fucking city.
Yeah. We'll deal with it tomorrow.
how much wood is in the just asking? How much wood is in the construction of our keep?
A lot.
A lot. There's a lot of stonework though as well.
Okay.
We
Also
might have
guards.
to-
Also guards. Also people who can alert us. Also, I will have trouble sleeping tonight. I will have trouble sleeping until this is done. Oh god.
Gatsby, you're on top of my PlayStation.
He's keeping
He
it
wants to
warm.
play.
Yeah.
It's being a jerk.
He's
Paw
part of the
station.
PlayStation. He's part of the PlayStation Network.
Paw Station 4.
Oh.
He's got 4 paws. Okay, so what are you doing?
We're teleporting back to Arcadia, I guess, unless that people really want
With the
to camp in
horses.
With the
Okay.
horses. Unless people really want to camp in the forest, because we can camp in the forest.
Yeah, the forest. The forest where the guy just nearly killed all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably looking for us.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you doing?
Know
Are you
that we were in
teleporting
those
back?
places.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
up to
gonna,
Al- it's up
I'm
to
gonna
Red,
take out my
sorry.
fancy fucking chalk and start drawing with
Okay.
these fancy beach people
All right.
chalk.
You find a secluded clearing with enough, excuse me, enough of an open area for you to draw your teleportation circle and the sigils for the Dapper Snapdragon. And after about a minute, you recite the incantations, and the similar purple portal opens up. You take your horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You proceed on through into the teleportation circle area, the ritual circle. It's empty. Cecil goes home at night because he's a kid,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's got
He's
he's
awful.
yeah. So
Does
you
he at least clean up the onions?
yeah he
Are there labor
okay.
laws in Arcadia? Or is this
No.
like an internship
This
for
is a
him?
work
Like what's happening
setting.
here?
You're paying him.
We pay
Yeah, we
him.
pay him.
you're paying him better than most people get paid of
Yeah,
his.
and he gets free onions or
He can
something.
get paid for an internship. I'm just wondering, does he get class credit for this?
Yeah, he's getting
Yeah,
class
It's
credit.
a work study.
It's a work study. You saw him doing his homework all here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Dapper Snapdragon is actually kind of quiet at this time of night, at least down below. A lot of your Holg is still, in the kitchen preparing food for the patrons, and Agatha is serving at the bar. You manage to once again, with some effort, bring your horses back up onto the floor of the main floor of the tavern. Many of the regulars, having seen this once before, don't really pay it any mind. A lot of others are cheering at it. They see the horses and they start cheering. And they raise a glass. Bring them outside, and
Yeah, golf lets him back.
your stable hand, your stable master, makes sure that they're tended and well cared for. And you are now back safely. It is the evening, and you are within your stronghold.
I think I might want to try gathering everybody, if that's possible.
Yeah.
I think while we were on our way, as we arrived back, I sent a message with a spell to Verna. Is Mido still on the stronghold? Is
Yeah,
she here?
she's actually drinking right now in the
Okay.
tavern.
I think I sent a message to Verna and just hope she shows up. So I guess that's
Okay.
I don't
So
want to.
After about
Specify
15 minutes, there's the captain of your guard brings her in.
Okay. So I think what I'm doing here is, I think with what happened, it actually kind of feeds into this a little bit. Goff saw what happened with Sissel, and he saw what the stakes were of that situation, and how she went from full full to none basically, and it really worried him a lot, and a lot of things have been worrying him. So that kind of was like a moment for him that really struck a chord, and I think after everyone arrives, he puts his horses away, and like I don't know what everyone else is doing. Maybe they're, whatever y'all would be doing. But I think he makes his way back up to his rooftop, little secluded area, and at one point he requests Verna to show up. Maybe I don't know if he does it like right away, but eventually he sends messages to her, and he for the because I hate spamming sending. It's really annoying. It's also not super elegant. I think Goff has Roscoe get the attention of everybody else after a while.
Okay.
Maybe he's up there for like it's like 9 or 10 or something, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of late.
It's late.
I think he gets. Is Mel still here, by the way? Ah, for fuck's
Oh,
sake!
no.
Doesn't sound like it.
No. Are you muted?
Nope.
Like, what the fuck, man?
I'm gonna eat Mel's family.
Mel,
He's
come
not
back.
here.
Mel, please.
Mm.
Well, okay. I guess we're just doing something else. It's fine. Whatever. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being so vocally upset. I keep trying to do this one thing I want Mel to be here for, and I can't do it.
Okay, well, it is the evening.
Like, this has been a perfect time. Should I just do it? Like, should I just say fuck it? Like, I don't.
It's up to you.
I have no idea what you're gonna do, so.
I know. It's important. Mel didn't even say he had to hide. He just disappeared.
Aw. Oh god, my lips are so chapped. I don't know where my chapstick is. Winter sucks, guys.
I'm just gonna fucking put Mel's mom in like a fucking conveyor belt and just have her crushed by 1,000 tons of steel, just eliminated, just gone. Maybe it's his cousin's leaving. He'll be back in a second. I don't know. He said he would have to. I asked him like, what the situation would be. He said he'd temporarily step away.
Well, here, please look at this GIF in the meantime. And make you feel better.
I'm really sorry for like it keeps throwing off like the whole like. It's a very good. Look at these very good dogs. There's so many and
I'm
they're so
here.
soft.
Hey.
Oh,
Are
there's
you
Mel.
here?
Okay.
Are you like here? You good?
Yeah, I had to go to my room and hide, but I'm on my phone now.
All right, cool.
All
What do you
right.
think, Tom?
Okay. I'm sorry. I keep building it up. I don't want to be like a
Well,
letdown.
just let's,
Okay.
before the window of opportunity closes.
Okay. So I think he goes up there and he lets out all the he goes up to the roof and he lets out all of his little buddies, like little animals. I think he does this all the time, and like he starts kind of tending to all the things that he's planted up there, and they're all kind of I don't know if there's like little benches or things, and I think they just kind of the bird I forgot their names. Mikar and Garla probably fly around and swirl around each other, and Bonnie and Kodo probably, like I think Goff just gives them some like little nuts, and they just chew on those and just kind of sit on the ground. And he's just kind of getting into his little like me time for a moment, and sends Roscoe off to kind of get everyone's attention.
Okay. Roscoe runs down, and he one by one goes to each of you and sort of gets your attention, and barks, and then grabs like your sleeve and tugs it in and ushers you toward the building.
Okay.
And Goff just kind of waits, and which building is the one that we stay in? Is it the one on the west?
It's on the west, yes.
Okay, so he's just looking out on the roof over. I think he's probably like looking out over to the east, so that the courtyard is below him, and he's looking at the tree and the glowing blue flowers, and the strange presence of like fireflies, even though the weather's not really acclimate to it, and he's kind of just letting that soothe him, and he's looking out over the cityscape beyond that into the sky. What's the weather like? Is it clear? Is it cloudy?
It's clear, but it's chilly. It's a little chilly.
Okay. And he's just really kind of zoning out, and he just waits for everyone to arrive whenever they do. And there's maybe like some pillows or something, or some, I don't know, some kind of places like to sit at that he kind of set out. Like a blanket or a carpet or something, like a rug. I don't know. Maybe he pulled it out of like a building that like the room that he was supposed to sit in, but he didn't want to, so he just pulled some like rug out or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, one by one, you all make your way up there. Mido as well makes her way up eventually. Verna, you see Verna eventually come in. She does not sit down.
Is there something?
She just stands there. Mido sort of leans against the side of one of the buildings.
Is there a place to perch?
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah. There's
Like,
walls, and there's probably like
Above?
there's like the stairwell that's
there's
kind of
there's the stairwell that leads.
which has a little mini roof on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I'm gonna be on top of that.
I just sort of
Okay.
nest up against Tackle.
And Goff is as he walks, as everyone comes in, he's like kind of looking at everyone and maybe like nodding his head occasionally, but he's not really like addressing anyone or anything. He's just kind of waiting and looking, and he's like, I think maybe like messing with like the soil and like the making sure like the what are those things called? Those little wooden things you put into plants so they stand up. I don't know what they're called.
Crops.
Is that what they're called?
I don't
No,
know.
trellis. The trellises?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just messing with it. Like, he's just tending to them kind of absent-mindedly. And when everyone arrives, he stands kind of in front of everybody with everyone kind of looking at him, and he looks nervous, and he just bows his head kind of in a with what's the word I want, gratitude.
Gracious. Yeah.
Yeah, and he like kind of like thanking in a thanking way for everyone to show up, and he kind of looks at Verna a little bit nervously because he hasn't really seen her a lot, and he turns and he looks back out over the courtyard, and he rests his hand on the wall, like the railing or whatever it is that it's like a
Yep.
half wall,
Mm-hmm.
and he just kind of leans on it, and it's probably kind of awkward for everybody else, but he kind of sits there for like maybe like 30 or 45 seconds, just kind of silently looking out over everything, and doesn't really say. Obviously, he doesn't really say anything, and the wind is just kind of all that's really happening, like the only sound that's really passing through. And he turns around. Well, no, he does. I'm sorry, he doesn't turn around. He, while still facing away from everybody, he unfastens, and he's wearing still the clothes that he was been wearing since as long as everyone's known him, which are torn and partially disintegrated and burned and God knows what else. And he unfastens this cloak, which is tattered and stained, and it was once kind of a faint creamy yellow color, and now it's kind of mostly like dirtied and brown and torn and like scorched and all sorts of things. And he removes it and lets it fall to the onto the ground, the floor of the roof or whatever you'd call it. And he just has kind of a basic chainmail armor on underneath, and he unfastens his belt, and rests that, and he's basically just starting to remove all of his clothing, which is weird, probably kind of awkward. Not, no, like, yeah, I mean, he's not like all of it, but like he does this, and he removes his chain armor, which is partially battered but still functional. It's just bits and pieces on the edges have been kind of taken off, and he pulls that off, and he pulls off like an undershirt. He keeps his basically his pants / shorts on. And at this point, you all see something that you've never seen, because Goff, every time he has to disrobe for any reason, he's always in private. Like, he has to take when he takes his baths, or when he sleeps. When he slept with you, he's always kept all his armor on, which is probably very uncomfortable, but he does it because it's he's the way he is. He is what he is. And you're all now seeing for the first time Goff's like bare like skin, and except for his arms, like you see his arms, and so you see he's just wearing like basically his like shorts, and he's taken off of his sandals as well, and you see his back, and when he pulls off his chain shirt, you notice that he has an absolute huge mess of like curly matted hair, like very long, that's probably down to like the small of his back. Is that the lower part of your back, the small?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
and like not butt length, but pretty long, and it falls.
has
It's all
a
like
comb out.
kind of what's that?
Ellen has a comb out. Has like a brush out.
Oh,
If you want
God.
it.
And he doesn't turn towards anyone yet, but you see it now on his back. Like you see the full spread of his tattoos, which cover every inch of his back and his arms, and you probably assume they wrap around to his front as well. And it's just like he is just like a mural of all these different patterns. Some are curved and sweeping and smooth, and some are angular and more kind of like runic. And there's just a whole mix, and some kind of represent maybe like vine-like shapes or the shapes of waves or water. And they're just all over the place. But you also see that under all of this is his back and the upper parts of his arms, and a few scattered here and there on the backs of his like forearm and such are deep welts and scars all across, crisscrossing over each other, some large, some small, and it is absolutely like a terrace. Just it is just an immense amount. Like you can barely see any parts of, at least in the darkness of the night, you can barely see any parts of his back, skin, or anything that has not already been like pocked and marked and scarred. And it's all healed, but it's all just like very uneven. And after you kind of all take this in, as he stands there kind of in the most vulnerable moment he's ever really presented around any of you, he looks up into the sky at the stars above, and he opens his mouth. 40 years passed. On the first day of spring, a boy was born in the east, surrounded by salt and sea. The youngest of 4 brothers. And he coughs. His brothers and his parents were cruel and vicious, and he was surrounded by malice. Yet he did not feel as his kin did. When his brothers found fun in kicking and teasing prisoners or captured animals, he sought to give them comfort and company in secret. When his father forced him to train by way of the blade, he did protest and rejected the teachings from his mind. When those around him fell to slumber so easily with dreams of conquest and brutality, he tossed and turned, visited by a golden voice he could not understand. He grew and survived, but remained a disgrace. And he looks down. And he clenches his fist and he holds it out. He argued with his 3 brothers, and they beat him. He would disobey his father, and he was placed in chains. One day, he was caught helping a wounded creature. And his fist is visibly shaking, and he says, "That day, the brothers took the boy's eye. They told him, 'Go on, push back more, and we'll take your feeble tongue too.' He asked himself, 'Why do I oppose that which none other around me do? How am I to live in a place such as this?' The boy decided soon after that, speak around such evil was folly. To engage in that tongue would cost him more than he could fear. That day, the boy became silent as the winter's night." And he releases his fist. "The boy became a man, as some would call it. He began to daydream about being anywhere else but here. But there, sorry.
He began to make plans that would not succeed. He hung by his wrists from shackles in the infinite dark of a cell under the Citadel. More than he did anything else. When the man had survived 20 summers, his brothers beat him worse than he could remember, and he was left, hanging by a single shackle as one broke during the miss. Barely conscious. Driven by pure instinct. The man freed himself, and somehow found his way outside of his prison unseen. He did not question how, where, or why. He stumbled and limped for as long as he could. He drank from ponds and barely ate. One night, he found a ship anchored by the shore. He waited and watched for a long time. The man found a chance and snuck aboard, hiding among the crates. For what felt like years, he curled up in the shadow of the cargo. Eventually, the ship reached land to the west. The man waited for a chance to flee, and when he did not look behind him. He ran, feebly and scarred. He swore that he would never return to that place, or ever speak to mankind again, where they offered nothing but cruelty and evil with their words. Their intentions, and he clenches his fist again, always self-serving, violent, and misleading. Language was the voice of deceit and malice. And he starts to turn a little bit. So his back is kind of at a 3/4 angle, but he stops again. Over the next decade, the man found caves and holes to sleep in. He wandered in the wilderness and taught himself to hunt to survive. He avoided signs of others and lived off of clumsy wits and luck. And he puts one hand on his forearm. One night, he was walking back to his camp. It was beginning to rain. On his way, he became distracted in his own mind and wandered off his path somewhere he had not ventured before. He heard the sound of the wind in the leaves. He felt pain sear through his arm. And his coughing is starting to let up a little bit. He was surrounded by hungry beasts. In the dark rain he could not see. 4 or 5 strong, they struck him again and again. He tried to flee, and he clenches his fist and pulls it close, but he had to fight. For what felt like hours, but was only seconds, he fought and struck down the beasts, but he was gravely wounded. He felt a sense of grim nostalgia. In immense pain, and beginning to accept his death at the end of a miserable, wasted life, he saw a cavern beyond some crags, faintly glowing with a warm light. He thought to himself, "This is the light I follow to my fall." He accepted this, and walked towards the faint warm light. He collapsed at the entrance, and he hit his head on a large rock. And the world went dark finally around him. As his vision left him, he saw something move above him, and he faded away. And he looks up into the sky again. He woke up feeling pain in his entire body, smelling blood and damp stone. He thought, if this is death, it could be worse. He opened his eye after some time, and beheld the same warm light again. But it surrounded him. He turned his head in pain and saw he was in a makeshift study, filled with books, and papers, and furniture. But a lot of this did not seem familiar to him at the time. He found he was lying on a cot. A humanoid creature approached him, speaking gently. She seemed glad he was awake, and explained that she found him outside, and healed him back from the brink. This woman's name, as she spoke it, was Liza. And his hands fall open, and as his face is only slightly turned, you catch a slight reflection of the sparkle of a tear as it falls off of the side of his cheek. At first, the man was skeptical and didn't respond in any way. She offered him food and drink. She offered him medicine. She offered him shelter. Like a cautious animal, the man slowly accepted her generosity, but did not feel comfortable. However, eventually, he came to let his guard down. She told him about the world. She told him about magic. She told him about the holy arts, and his tattoos shimmer very, very slightly. Healing the wounded, helping the weak, aiding the sick. Over time, she began to teach him how to use her abilities. He did not speak, and she did not force him to do so. She taught him to write, and press tattoos into his body to help him channel magic instead. She taught him there are those who are kind, and those who are true. He listened to her, but secretly, he did not believe her. He thought she was an exception. Over the next 10 years, she cared for him and taught him kindness and the skills to help creatures that cannot help themselves. She taught him of Eldath, the golden goddess of peace, of the rushing waterfall crashing into a calm pool. She taught him about the nature of water and life. She became his best and only friend. He started to feel like living had more purpose than he used to believe, but he still struggled with his own worth. But she was always there. He lets his hands fall again. And he sighs. One day, she was not there. And he pauses for a lot longer than before. And I think you can tell he's replaying a memory in his mind that is clearer than many others. And then after a bit he says, "And the man, following some force within, pulling him, walked to the north." And he turns around all the way, and for the first time, you all see Goff's face, fully and truly. And you see a face scar just as the back, and a chest as well, for what parts the beard does not cover. And you see a very sad, worn out eye, and a pock-marked skin, and a cloth wrapped over his right eye. And he pulls it off, revealing a rough mess of a healing done to where his eye once laid. Just a mess of, just kind of a smoothed over where the socket is. It's just kind of another, there's no eye there. It's healed over completely. And he looks at you, at all of you, and he smiles a sad smile. And he kind of holds his hands out, like in a kind of like gesturing, like kind of a attention. I don't know how to he holds his hands out, and he says, "I was once called," and he kind of bites both of his lips, "Jorg Cragbreaker." And he struggles a little bit, and he strains, and then he says, and he shakes his head in a denying what he, as if his own words, and he says, "But I am no Cragbreaker. No. They are no kin of mine. I am not." And his tears start to pour out of his eyes. "I am not. My name and he kind of nods to himself, is Goff. It is meaningless, but it is mine. It was freedom from a chain long holding me to misery. And he steps forward a little bit, and he gets down on his knees in a kneeling, like a kind of a kneeling sit. And he looks down at the ground. Long have I believed that to vocalize was the language of deceit and cruelty, because it was all I knew. But through Liza, and through you, and he looks up at everyone, I have learned that to speak carries power. The power you wield comes from your heart, and he puts his hand to his chest, not your voice. And he's basically just constantly like streaming tears down his face as he talks.
Ellen is hugging him already.
No, okay, well, if she does, he accepts the hug and embraces her with a sad smile that he's been bearing, and as he rests his hands over her back, he continues to speak. Evil is not a natural part of our spirit. We create ourselves, and those around us create us in turn. And he kind of sweeps a look at everyone. And through creation, we can be made, and unmade, and then made again. And he takes a big, deep inhale. I break my vow in front of you now, because soon, and he gestures to the east with his hand, our mission requires us to return to some place I swore I never would. I swore it every day of my life, but something has changed. At 40 summers pass, well into my life for the first time, and he smiles bigger than you could possibly imagine you've ever seen him smile, even under the shadow of his hood. And he looks at everyone, to Horaith, to Sissel, down at Ellen, to Mido, even Verna in the back, and then to Roscoe. And he says, and he nods and he says, I have a family. And he keeps kind of nodding, like in a self-assuring way, and he says, I have true kin. I have people who I can protect, and people who protect me. And he bites his lips again, holding back probably more emotion than he's currently showing. And he says, Liza always told me there were many truly good people in this world, but my experience led me to believe she was wrong. But I was foolish, as I often am. She was right. She always has been right. You are all good people. I may not understand everything you do, and he looks at Sissel, or what you have experienced, and he kind of looks at everyone. But you are family to me now, and that is something I have never had. I do not have words to express the feeling this gives me. And he looks down at Ellen, who he's holding, and he says, Ellen Mahariel, all-seeing and all-knowing mother. He looks up Horaith. Horaith Steelsong, bearer of the blessed blood, hands of an artist. He looks over at Sissel. Sissel Blackwell, friend of the crows, witch of the thicket. And he looks over at Tackle even. Tackle, and he kind of smirks and cocks his head a little bit. An unlikely friend, but a beloved friend. He looks over at Mido. Maya Toenya Stillspire, the unstoppable soldier, but lover at heart. And up at Verna.
He kind of blushes.
Verna Asim, protector and guide, and he has a respectful nod. Mind of a leader.
She nods to you.
And he looks at Roscoe. And he starts breaking more than he has, and he says, Roscoe,
And he holds his other hand out that he's not holding Ellen with. My dearest friend from a world beyond, a loyal companion.
Roscoe kind of nuzzles up against you.
And he holds Roscoe with his other arm. And he pauses and he smiles and his face is wet. And he says, if we must go east, to the Cragbreaker Citadel, to the place I once pronounced, we go together. We go as one. And he nods, kind of in confirmation of what he's saying. The blood within my body is cursed, and he holds his hands away from Ellen and Roscoe for a second. And he looks at everyone, and meets everyone's gaze once, again, and then he asks, do you accept me as I am, all I have been, and all I might be? And he looks at everyone expectantly.
Of course.
I get up and go over to him, and I'm not entirely sure why you chose to run with this band of fools in the first place, but I'm glad you did. And I just sort of like give him a hug, as much as I can get my arms around him. And
Yeah.
I am absolutely not one to condemn anyone, especially someone like you. I accept you.
He nods to you.
I'll walk up to Goff and I kind of like, I mean, he's over twice as tall as I am, so I kind of like clasp his arm.
He's sitting
like
down,
probably,
kind of.
oh, he's sitting still. I like clasp like your arm, like kind of around your elbow, and I just kind of like hold you there for a second, and then I kind of like lean in for like one or a
Yeah,
half.
he pulls you in closer than you probably intended. And he's kind of got everyone like in a big group bear hug right now.
Good.
And he looks at Mito and Verna.
Actually, Falk,
Yeah.
could you roll d12 for me?
Okay. 6.
Ah, okay, never mind.
You were hoping they were back. I know.
I was hoping they were back so I could hug
back.
him with my
They're back.
wing. Okay, I'm hugging him with my wing.
Okay.
Okay, so Ellen, the wings flare out and they wrap around Goff. Mito sort of sheepishly looks away and she says, "Oh, you know I do." And Verna just is stoically looking at you, and after a moment she closes her eyes and she nods wordlessly to you. And
As
meanwhile Roscoe is nuzzling up against you and sort of, you see his tail wagging.
He pulls everyone who's close to him in for a hug, and he's probably a little bit swishing people too much, but he pulls everyone in and just kind of probably cries on top of somebody, and he holds everyone there for a little bit, and he lets everyone go, and he nods, and he stands up, and he holds out his left hand, which bears he holds out his right hand, which bears does not bear the symbol of Eldath on the back. And he holds it palm up, and he says, "Please, place your hands within mine."
I
he
holds it
suddenly up the hand down.
Yeah,
Play the same.
After a moment, Mito and Verna also move up to you, and they place their hands in your hand.
Paw.
And Roscoe gives paw. Tackle is off licking his own paw, and then after
It's
a
okay if
moment,
Tackle doesn't want to. And when everyone's hands and paw are in his hand, he closes it, and he wraps his fingers around, and then he places his other hand on top, and a light emanates from within between his palms, and it's just a gentle hum, and you all feel a warm sensation on the back of your hands. It is pleasant. And there's nothing like super. It's just this pleasant, warm feeling, and it feels like it's a very particular shape. And after maybe about 5 seconds, he pulls his hand away, and he turns his left hand
his right hand. I'm sorry, his right hand to the back of his hand is up, and then when you all look on the back of your hand, you see a blue heart pressing your skin. And it is pressed into your skin as the tattoos on his skin were pressed into him once before. And he says, and he nods, and he says, "Blue hearts." And he looks at everyone and smiles. To symbolize trust, loyalty, and faith in whatever we face in the future. With this, we are bound together, always. And he holds his hand up, his right hand, the heart facing outwards, and he puts it in a fist.
I make the same motion.
I'll do the same.
I'll do the same. I know how I feel about contracts, but I love this one better.
Mito does the same. Verna, after a moment, just sort of hesitantly does so as well. And Roscoe just sort of puts his paw on
just kind of waving it in the air.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he nods and he lowers his hand, and he folds his hands together, fingers intertwined.
Is that our new salute, guys?
That, you would have it, out of character, me saying this, is my intended group name for our campaign, the Blue Hearts.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. I love it.
Oh, Mel, are you okay?
I'm trying. I
I've
love
heard
it.
you like sniveling for like the best. Oh.
Started to happen to me, but he and after he places it down, he turns away again, and he says, he looks out over the skyline, and he says, no, he looks over the skyline, then he looks down into the blue flowers that are wrapped around the growing tree. His in his mind, greatest gift to the planet, to the realm, at least in terms of plants. And he says, "I have seen greater terrors than I could have ever feared. The creature summoned from beyond. The Hanged King. The Void Beast of the Thicket. The abominations of Gonadar. But all while standing beside you," and he turns back around, "we have faced death and felt it." And he looks at Ellen. "We have laid low architects of evil and those who would see us undone, merely for living to do good and care for our loved ones." He bites his lip and he pulls on his beard a bit, and then he says, "For a time," and he starts kind of avoiding eye contact a little bit. He says, "For a time, I have chased death and danced with demons, for I often feel no worth in myself." And he puts his fist to his chest. "I have felt that I was cursed to a path of misery and suffering. But now, I have a reason to survive. I have family." And he places a hand on whoever's on the far. I guess whoever's close. He places a hand on I guess maybe Ellen's shoulder, and maybe, I don't know, Sissel, or whoever. And he says, "My purpose that lies within yours." And he does, and he gets down onto his knees again, and he bows a deep bow, head almost touching the floor. And then he sits back up, still on his knees, and just looks at everyone and smiles. And that was all I had planned.
Oh.
I'm sorry, it went really long. I wrote a lot.
It was great. It was great.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And I have another thing I want to do. It's not right now. It would happen the next day when we woke up, but I'm gonna do it now because I think we're probably gonna end pretty soon based on the time. But I have another thing, and Falk, if you would do me the honor of doing something for me,
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna
Okay.
send you something,
Sure.
and you know what to do with it when I send it to you.
Is this going to be on DM?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. Alright.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Give me a moment. This is going to take a bit of work.
It's okay. I hope I didn't make anyone feel uncomfortable with kind of my giving everyone
Holy
a tattoo
shit,
thing.
dude, this is so fucking cool. Okay. Where is it? Sorry, I'm frantically going through all the... Okay, there it is. Alright. Okay. Oh my god, this is fucking awesome.
This is what everyone will see. This is what what?
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
So,
Falk,
GM
you're a little robot.
Oh,
Am I?
you were buddy for a second. You're fine now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Alright. Give me one moment, I'm setting some things up because I need to give you control over it and everything.
Okay.
Okay. Almost there. Okay. And okay, that should do it. And then I just got to do this. Boop.
Oh god.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Make it
What?
big.
Oh.
yeah.
Make
Alright.
it big.
What?
Make it big.
Oh, what a
Oh, no,
pretty
can't see.
boy.
Oh! Ah!
Make it bigger.
Here he is.
Make it
Take a
bigger.
screenshot.
Okay, making it bigger.
Ah!
I'll
Show
put
me.
Him big.
here. I'll put it in Wiggle for you, Mel. Can
That's
you see,
really
can you see it in
fucking
Discord?
That's
If I put it-
really
if I put it in
cool.
Discord, can you see it?
Yeah.
There you go. So the next morning, when everyone sees Goff, he'll look like this.
That's really cool.
Got new clothes. And you made a
Oh, what the
mess.
heck? Outfit change.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was all the stuff that I kept talking up a big game about. Sorry that
That was
it took a long
fantastic.
time, and I hope no one felt super uncomfortable by me giving everyone a tattoo without telling you I was giving you a tattoo.
I like the tattoo, and if I may, sort of workshop of that a little bit, if you don't mind, what
Okay.
I'd like to do with it is I'd like to say there's you before you cast it, you kind of spoke with Anna a little bit and got some ideas, and you imbued a little sort of magic ability into that
Oh.
tattoo, so
Oh.
that it essentially functions like a lifeline. Whenever, no matter where any of you are,
Okay. Oh.
if any of you fall unconscious or are unconscious in any way, it'll pulse. So it'll give you an indication that one of your friends is hurt. and
That's so wild because I had a very similar idea, but it was going to be based on something like, oh, I forgot. I had this whole thing planned. I'm going to tell you guys what it was, but I decided well, I had actually, you know what? I'm going to save it because I might do it later. But there was a similar thing that was basically a lifeline thing, but it wasn't as useful. It was a different take on the same mechanic that I was going to do, but it wasn't based on the tattoos. But I'm going to save the thing I was going to do later because I might use it for something else later.
Okay. So. Okay, so with that, as you all stand, we'll say as you're all standing on the rooftop, the cool winter winds gently caressing your skin as you all stand around this ragtag group of people, now a family. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
I love all of my children.
Also, I forgot that Goff was like old. 40's not old, but also to Sissel it's old.
Well,
To Hirai, he's like the same age, but she's much younger, dwarf-wise.
yeah, he also, based on his life, has a lot more wrinkles and marks. He looks I think he probably looks at like another 10 or 20 years older than he actually is. He's got a lot of, yeah, he's got some gray. I didn't do a very good job in this icon, just maybe he's got a lot of gray in his hair too. I'm just not good with hair coloring.
Mm-hmm.
I like this this token because I get a better sense of his tattoos and skin color, where I felt like I didn't as much with the others.
No, yeah, the first one I did pretty quick, and it was the first time it was like I didn't really know entirely what I wanted. I just knew I wanted a Goliath guy. It was hard that you couldn't really see his face and a big beard. And excuse me, but yeah, yeah. And also I wanted a cool mask. So
It's a good mask.
I wanted to have his hair like showing, because I thought it was probably uncomfortable and weird to have his hair always kind of underneath like all that armor, because he didn't
Yeah,
really
that's a
have
lot of hair.
long- Yeah, he's got a lot of
Does.
big, thick, curly hair, and so I thought it would be better to have this thing where his hair was like out, and then I would just use a mask instead, because I wanted to keep up that whole like covering his face thing or not being able to really see it, just because I thought it's like part of how he is. But
Let's do the comparison here.
I mean, I was looking at the differences. There's a big difference in how much
You
time I put
comparison
into
shot.
him.
Season 2 golf.
Yeah, time skip Goff.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
They're titans now. They're gonna fight.
Yeah.
No.
Kaiju battle!
No.
No, that was when we turned Roscoe into a T-Rex.
Oh,
Oh, he's big.
Big
And
and
big.
cute.
big.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry that took so long. I
It
wrote a
was
big notepad
really
document.
good.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
It was worth every second,
Hell yeah.
and I'm still crying.
Oh.
Oh man.
Man, there was like I think it was like only 1 or 2 sessions ago, and you, Falk, you were like, man, it's gonna be crazy when Goff speaks, and I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, pretty.
I kind of
it's
figured
crazy.
that was where this was going, because I figured
Yeah.
you probably wanted to do the speaking thing when you went back to the Isles.
It is a
before
deep.
we went
It's gonna
off
be
the-
wild.
It is.
Yeah.
Goff speaking is the deepest sign of commitment and trust to everyone around him. But I think he probably will do it even around other people, but only when he's around you all, because he
Yeah.
feels like
Where you
Yes.
enable him.
because everyone's become his safe space in a way, and if he's by himself, he'll probably go back to not talking. 'cause-
Despite the fact that Sissel's there, incredibly.
Mhm.
what?
Despite the fact that Sissel's there, incredibly.
Oh well, safe space like mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
Physically,
Sissel is
he-
just his darling disaster daughter.
Yeah. Tiny
mean, it
little
was-
monster.
in this particular version of the narrative, because I had all these different particular
Mhm.
like ways I was going to do this. In this particular version, this was prompted. This whole thing was kind of spurred because of what happened to Sissel, and he does view Sissel kind of in like almost like a. I mean, he's never been a parent, but probably the closest resemblance would be like kind of in a father-daughter kind of way.
Oh.
I mean, they're more like, but they act more like buddies than they do like
Yeah.
that. But like he looks at Sissel as someone that he needs to take care of, and when he saw that happen to her and he didn't understand it and it was really freaky, he was like, shit. And like, I mean, the whole idea for this, because I don't think he'll ever necessarily quite say it, is just that he is realizing that things are dangerous and things are fucked up, and these are the best people I know, and I think I owe it to them to, I need to like embrace them before it's too late, is basically the mindset he's in, is like, I need to embrace them with as much as I can, and
That was the
You know,
robot.
not hide everything about myself all the time, because this is the only chance I might have at
Yeah.
being appreciated for who I am, is basically where he's going with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been planning that for like a year.
Wow.
Now
I have been thinking about how to do that for a very long time. Now I hope I didn't ruin it by getting so angry about not being able to do it quite when I wanted to. I was like thinking, it's about to happen, and then like something would happen, like Mel's family would be terrible. I'm like, fuck, and
Yeah.
but it's okay.
Ugh.
And
I'm thanking for waiting for me.
No, yeah, I knew that if anyone,
Uh.
I really wanted Patrick and Lauren to be there, so I was going to try and do it at the beginning of the session, but then that whole thing with your cousin happened, so I was like, but I can do it if you three are here, and if any of you are missing, I can't do it. Like that was the because these four 5 individuals have been in through pretty much all the shit together, and like that's the core group basically, and Vernon and Mito being there as a the players. I mean, Patrick and Lauren being there as players have been a bonus, but they still needed to be there for the event because I felt like if I did this whole ceremony where we all kind of had like a matching symbol that we carried, and then we ran across them and they didn't have it, I'd feel really awkward and like, yeah. By the way, like,
Yeah.
we're kind of like bonded as found family,
We're besties
and you
now.
weren't there.
We're
And,
a
yeah,
team.
it would be really awkward. And I was like, I think they need to be there because they're still part of it. They're just doing their own thing some of the time.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, I didn't. I just feel I just did a lot of talking, so I feel very anxious. So I hope I'm just. I kept,
No, it was great.
No, it was
I
super
fucking
I hope nothing.
I love Goth's
anyone-
voice, by the way. Before,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that was a good voice choice.
A voice
I mean,
choice.
it's basically just me trying to make a deep voice, but I appreciate it because I feel like it's not deep enough.
No,
But-
it's perfect. It's just how I
Again,
imagined him.
I hope I didn't make anyone uncomfortable with anything that I did or said. I don't know why. I worry that I did somehow.
I think for like a split second, Cecil might have been freaked out by the tattoo thing, but also this is somebody that she like knows and trusts. So like, once she realizes it's there, she's like, okay, yeah.
I mean,
this is
if
good.
it was a thing where someone really desperately didn't want to have a tattoo on their skin, I'm sure Goff could probably remove it somehow.
Yeah, no, it's like as of now, it is not an issue to her. It is just something that would like have freaked her out at first, but no, she's good.
Yeah. I thought about I thought it was more like a kind of a trust me situation as opposed to
Yeah.
do you want me to give you a tattoo because that would take away a
What
lot
a
of
sweet tattoo. No,
Let's
Yeah,
get tattoos.
I thought it'd be a lot more impactful if it was something that you didn't know was going to happen.
no, it was really
It's like-
great.
Mhm.
It was really good. Also, you made Mel cry like so much.
Yeah.
I know.
when I said that I have a family the first time, you might have heard it. I was actually starting to like.
Yeah,
cry.
yeah. I was hearing you. So like, how many is that? How many is that? Like, Lauren's cried, I've cried, Mel's cried, Tom's cried.
We don't know if Alex has. It could have.
We don't know if Alex has. Yeah,
Alex is stone cold.
we'll get you yet. Not yet. We'll get you, Alex. And
We just
Matt.
haven't found the right. We haven't find the right little divot to dig in to get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Most of my stuff was resolved fairly okay.
No,
so-
yeah. Your dad was
Yeah.
fine. He didn't get fucked up by a beholder.
Your
so-
brother's still shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not
Yeah,
really.
there's still some lingering threads for here.
Hey,
everyone.
Look at it. Look
Pretty
at
much
this tweet.
everyone.
Look at this tweet.
But yeah, Red. I know that you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart and not really as not like a what's the word I want, like a obligation. But this, like, as soon as you upload this session, please tell me because
Yeah, I'm gonna try and
I want
upload it
Patrick and
tonight.
Lauren. I want Patrick and Lauren to be able to listen just so
Yeah.
they know that because I had things like I had the comments I said about them and I
Yeah. Oh shit! I should actually I can stop recording and start uploading it right now.
nice.
Yeah.
This
I'm
is
gonna
literally
do it.
like not exactly how I got a cat, but sometimes cats just pick you and you just get to like.
Sometimes you're chosen, and that's important.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
If this is real and this cat just climbed through the vent. Holy
That's
shit.
how you know that it's time. Now you have a cat.
Yeah, you have a cat.
Oh.
Now. You've been chosen.
Oh, it apparently already had an owner.
Oh.
No.
Oh no.
No. I would have kept it. They can't stop me.
Mine.
All right, I'm gonna stop recording and upload
Okay.
it.